The fifth-year option on pass rusher Micah Parsons, according to Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News. Now, get this. The CBA determines Micah's position, not the Cowboys. He's designated as a defensive end rather than a linebacker. Going to save him $2.7 million. And the Houston Texans have locked up their place kicker, reaching a 3-year, $15.9 million deal. Makes him the fourth highest-paid kicker in the league.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Guess what day it is?
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Hump day.
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 Wow. Man, firing
it's a
right
great,
out of the gate.
Great Wednesday, is it not? Hump day, everybody.
It's an
Hump
afternoon
day.
delight, is it
Have a
not?
happy one.
Yes.
Of course it is. Of course, always.
Start off with some morning glory, lead into an afternoon delight. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is great.
Are you set over there now?
I hope so. I can't hear you, but
You can't hear it all?
other than that, yeah, I'm good. I don't know what's going on. That's way above my pay grade.
It really is. Pledge, go over there and help the man out. And here's the thing. Just blame Rob Thompson.
Well, that's fine. I got that. I just, for whatever reason, I can't hear it here.
On your headphones?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe it's the headphones.
It might be the headphones.
Could
those
be.
piece of crap headphones that you got free on a flight. They're only good for 7 uses.
No, these are the different ones.
Oh,
See,
those are
Pledge
the-
can't figure it out either.
Those are the different ones. So you think the whole thing went out? Wow. Well, they're loud over there, apparently.
Well, see,
we got blood coming out of
that.
Pledger's ear.
We got to get Shelton in here. You
Oh,
think he can
good
do
Lord.
anything?
Turn the volume up on that. Just turn the on switch.
What on switch?
There's an on switch. Just reach around in the back, flip that switch.
I see a red light right here.
Well, if there's a red light on, it works.
It doesn't.
Is the volume up or is the volume down?
Dude, it's all the way up.
All the way up.
Not a complete idiot.
Or is it all the way down? Man, we should put cameras over there watching what's going on. This is like,
look at that.
In a car race, the pit stop. There's a
Wow.
tires changing, earphones are working. We're rocking and rolling after that award-winning sportscast
What
we
am I
never
gonna
didn't
do?
hear. So I got a question though. Did anybody hear your Sports Center?
I have no idea.
I didn't hear the Sports Center.
I have no clue whether we heard it or not.
I didn't hear Sports Center in my headphones, which was the first clue that there was something wrong already on this flight at takeoff.
Well,
Pledge says he could hear it.
Oh, well, that's good.
How the hell does that happen?
It's all that matters.
No, it matters if, you guys driving around heard that award-winning sportscast, or did you just hear 38 seconds of music?
And maybe they just heard that. Maybe that's better.
Well, that
might
made it
like that better.
award-winning.
Yes.
Yes, an award-winning score.
The bigger question is,
Here
the
we
hell
go.
with the Sports Center. Did you hear the Hump Day?
No.
Hump day.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I love that camel.
Yeah.
I really do. It's
Here we go.
amazing how much I love that camel.
It really is kind of sick.
It's just, everybody's got to have a pet.
So you want a pet camel?
Sure, why not? That'd be kind of cool.
Having a pet camel.
Ride him around in between the humps.
See, they sit in between the humps or on top of a hump.
I don't know
And if
because
you got a one hump camel, where do you sit there?
well, they have saddles for those things, right?
Well, I mean,
I mean,
is it on top of the hump? Is it, you don't want to be too far on the back end of the hump.
well, I've seen it like Indiana Jones, for example. That's where I've seen people riding camels, and they've got little they're almost like a box on there.
Trunk for all their stuff.
No,
as they're moving from
well, it
one
could be.
desert resort to another.
It could be, but there's actually people that sit there.
Yeah. Vince
It'd be
says
kind
he
of
heard
fun. Well, thanks, Vince.
you. Yeah.
I don't know why you didn't.
I don't know. You know why my stuff always works? 'Cause I'm the only one that sits over
Yeah,
here.
nobody sits there.
Well, I need an instruction, just a reminder. I need to put it up here. Change to Air Mix Pre.
Yes.
I think I just need to start adding, like when I put all the stuff in there, I should double check.
Well, it really should be your job anyway.
Well, I'm
Being the technical producer and all, that's technical.
I'm not going to blame Pledge. I should do that. It's not that difficult to do. So
Well, it's checks and balances.
that's what it is.
Right?
That's what
I
it
mean,
is.
you know, it's like when you're flying, right? Doesn't the pilot go around and check to make sure everybody is done what they need to do in preparation? Right?
Does he?
I don't know. You see a pilot walking around with a clipboard. I assume that's not his job to make sure the tires are inflated properly, but he checks that.
I guess I've never paid attention. I'm assuming that somebody checks it, I hope. I mean, once that door's shut and wheels are up, it's kind of like you're in God's hands then. It's just like, that's it.
Well, see, I always appreciate a pilot that says, you know what, we're not flying this bird right now.
Uh-huh.
Like, I rarely get upset when there is a mechanical delay. Because if the pilot isn't willing to put that bird in the sky with him flying it, then I'm going to agree with him.
Yeah, sure.
It sucks in the moment, right? All right, well, we got a switch we got to get fixed because this isn't working right. Well, dude, if you're telling me you don't want to fly this thing, I'm good. Because I figure if he's willing to take off in this thing and you're pretty sure you can land this thing, we're in pretty good shape, right?
Well, sure. And I'm with you there. I'll trust those guys. It's funny because you experience different things. And I've been very fortunate, quite frankly, to not experience many mechanical stuff and all of that. But one, I had like a 2.5 hour delay because the plane had a flat tire.
Well, it happens.
And it took them 2.5 hours to change that thing. I mean, I can change a tire in about an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw you changing a tire on the back parking lot one day. You didn't do it quick. You ever call roadside assistance? It's about 2.5 hours.
I suppose. Look, I can change a tire. It just might take a while.
Sure.
I don't try to fool anybody, Minix. I'm not mechanically inclined, and I admit it fully. I'm not fooling anybody.
Although watching you change a tire in the back parking lot, in between my laughing and your cussing, it was because you were determined to do that without much help.
Well, what I don't understand is that, car people that make cars don't put good stuff back there. You got a little thing where you got to crank it, and then you got to make sure that thing's in the right spot.
Yeah, well,
because you could really screw your whole underneath up.
Absolutely.
So,
are we still talking cars?
I hope so. And it's just a pain in the butt.
Well, but it's frustration, and it adds to it.
It does, especially when it's hot as hell outside, and it was. If I recall,
the satisfaction of you changed the tire, you felt like a man, you were all dirty, and your wife was calling you, dude, we were supposed to meet for dinner 30 minutes ago.
I don't need that satisfaction. I'm perfectly comfortable with the man that I am.
Yeah,
I'm perfectly.
Are you sure?
I'm fine with it. Yes. I got no issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
Glad everything's back to normal now. I'm kind of like, all right, I can settle in.
Settle in.
And I was happy that Pledge even had a hard time with that, and he had to figure it out. So
well, yeah. Because if one man's struggling, another man struggles, it makes me feel better about myself and my own shortcomings.
Damn right it does. Yes. And then I saw a light bulb go off atop Pledge's head. Oh, it's this.
It's always good when the light bulb goes off.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what made me proud? When I did the show, you were gone a week ago on Monday, and I set up the whole thing at my house, and bam, worked flawlessly. Now that gives me satisfaction. Flawlessly.
It did, huh?
Yes.
It worked flawlessly.
Flawlessly. There was no problem.
None.
No problem at all.
None.
Not one.
Not one on Monday.
Not our Thursday either.
But when you were setting that thing up.
I don't recall that. I think you had just landed in Vegas on Saturday. And fortunately, because I didn't know I was going to have the show with RJ on Monday, I tested it out on Saturday. I wanted to make sure everything worked.
And we got it working.
Got it working. And so I was ready to go on Monday.
And for the most part, you did a hell of a job setting it up. Having never done it before, following instructions, when you hit your roadblock, it was an easy fix, but something that if you've never done before,
Yeah,
you don't know what you're looking for.
that was the phone numbers
Yeah.
or whatever they
Even though they're
are.
like written on a label right there on the deal.
Are
But
they really?
yeah,
Even the last three?
Yeah. Including the last three.
Now I know.
You know, there's not a 4-digit phone number in this world.
Now I know I can set it up and no problem.
Oh, I know. See, like John Sobery says, I missed your big announcement yesterday. The big announcement is Joe's going to set up the equipment when we get to Vegas.
No problem.
Absolutely.
They have engineers there, right?
They do.
Okay,
we are
good.
going to Las Vegas in a couple of weeks with our friends from Circa Las Vegas. We're going to be broadcasting the Blitz live from Circa Thursday and Friday, the 28th and 29th. Opening day of Major League Baseball, second weekend of the tournament, so Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. It's going to be a lot of fun out there doing the show out there. So if you guys are looking for something to do that weekend, and talking to Derek Stevens, who owns Circa, yesterday on the Blitz, this is past the Super Bowl as the number one weekend in Vegas.
Which really surprised me when he said that.
Yes.
I mean, it really surprised me. And they're going all out. I mean, all out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Food, drinks, Greg Maddux. I mean, what else do you want, right?
Well, that's it. So Greg Maddux, the Hall of Fame pitcher, is going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch at Circa.
Now, I wonder where the hell's he going to do that? In the sports book, I'm assuming. And who's going to catch it?
Well, it might be you.
Okay.
It might be you.
He probably lost a little on the fastball by now.
Maybe. I doubt it. I did volunteer you.
Okay, fine. I'm good.
If you need a catcher, Ryan Eagle's your guy.
I need a mitt.
Actually, it's going to be barehanded, but he hates the Cardinals, so he wants a good Cardinal fan to aim at. So
Absolutely.
I volunteered you.
He does hate the Cardinals for good reason.
So I volunteered you, man. Mega March. It's going to be a lot of fun out there. You guys want to go? Book your rooms, circalasvegas.com. You're out there. Let us know through social media. We'll all hang out at Circa. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's
already
gonna be a lot
heard
of
from
fun.
people that are booking trips.
Yeah, yes, me too. So come join the party. It's going to be fun.
All these comments on YouTube. If you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. You can also subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button while you're there, while you're commenting about Joe's VCR setting time skills. Probably accurate, but it's fine.
Well, it is accurate, and I don't do it. But what Joshua was talking about, in Maggie's office at my house, there's a nice painting. And I didn't realize it until everybody pointed it out when I was doing the show at home. And they all thought it was a Picasso. And it turns out it was just a James. So some dude named James signed it. I don't know. Maybe Pledge painted it. I don't know.
It's possible. Well, is it James Picasso?
No, there was no Picasso. It just said James.
Well, could it have been a Picasso that James duplicated?
Could be.
I mean, we could go that route.
Well, I mean,
I've been to your house. I don't recall seeing a Picasso.
No, it's not a Picasso.
Well, clearly it's not a Picasso. But how rich do these people think you are that you've got a Picasso that would be tucked away in the office and not like right at the entryway? Like if I owned a Picasso, well, one, I'd probably keep it in some sort of bank vault.
Yeah,
but if I owned a Picasso, it'd be the first thing you see when you walk into my house, or at least walk into the living room.
Well, no. So I know it's not a Picasso. It's a James.
A James.
Yes.
You got a James.
I got a James. And if you don't have a James, you ought to have one.
Well, who's James?
Well, I have no idea.
I mean, does James have a last name?
Obviously, it made an impression on Joshua Jimenez on YouTube.
Well,
because
everything does.
Okay.
Everything
He's
does.
easily impressed.
You know, that's the weird thing about doing the show from the house is even when you're watching on TV, I never realized I was a nosy person, but when I see somebody set up at the house, I'm looking at the books on their shelf, trying to figure out what are they reading, or if they've got a picture, who's in that picture. And you know, when I do it from the house, you got my kitchen window and a popcorn machine. And when we were during COVID, every day at the house, there'd be people, walk around your house. I want to see your memorabilia collection. I want to see, you know, because there is an interest level there. So you're sitting in your wife's office and they're trying to figure out the art piece behind you.
They are. And if you saw books in my house, that's great, but you can rest assured I'm not reading them.
Well, they would clearly be Maggie's.
Well, yeah, because I'm not reading books.
You have a lot of books.
Yeah, there's a lot of books in the house. I haven't read any of them.
You thumb through them at least?
No. Why?
You just put them on the shelf so it looks like you have a book?
I'm hoping somebody made a movie out of that book and I can just watch it.
Yeah. All right.
That's how I roll. Yeah, that's a great idea. And they're talking about an Ozzie Smith jersey. I got a great Albert Pujols jersey in a frame.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just waiting for the guy to get in the Hall of Fame before I sell it.
Before you sell it?
Of course.
Why don't you hang it on your wall? I mean, if you got a cheap painting from some dude named James, you could replace that with a Pujols jersey.
That's what I'm going to do. And I think that's a great idea. So the next time I do the show from my house, I think we'll put up the Albert Pujols jersey behind me.
Now, I know your wife well enough that she would allow you to do that for the 4 hours of the show as long as you switched out the painting after your show.
Yes.
I don't think you would be allowed to have Pujols up 24/7.
No, I don't think she would allow that. But the good news is that she has to go to work at least 3 days a week. A lot of times she goes into the office more than that. But, you know, she chose Monday and Thursday and got the hell out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So while I took over her office.
Well, she can't be running the world while you're yapping about sports,
exactly
right?
right.
She has to go to the
She actually
office.
has an important job.
So do you, my friend.
Yes, I do.
So do you. We solve the world's problems on a daily
do.
basis between 2 and 6 here on the Blitz, and we do that with you guys. You can always be a part of the show at 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210. You can tweet at me at Jason Minix. Again, you can always comment on YouTube as well. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, San Antonio Sports Stars YouTube channel. So all kinds of stuff floating around today. And this is where we like to educate.
Yes.
All kinds of people are, oh, man, the Cowboys are screwing over Micah Parsons already. Oh, man, the Micah's going to be pissed. They blah. Cowboys are going to pick up the Cowboys, the fifth-year option for Micah. No brainer there.
Yeah.
And again, formality, you got to do it. He still might get a new deal before it comes into play. But clearly,
he will.
They are going to pick up that fifth-year option. Problem is, he's been designated as a defensive end, not a linebacker. That, of course, means defensive ends get paid less than linebackers. So a couple $1 million difference in salary. As a linebacker, he would get $24 million in 2025, but as a defensive end, it's only $21.32 million only. But that's still a big difference. And again, this kind of goes back to various tight ends that wanted to be classified as wide receivers because wide receivers make more than tight ends. If he were to get franchise tag, linebacker gets more than a defensive end. So it's a big deal.
Sure.
But this isn't Jerry Jones.
No.
Jerry Jones and the Cowboys are not screwing Micah Parsons by calling him an end instead of a linebacker.
Why does everybody want to blame poor Jerry Jones?
Because that's what people do, Joe.
That's what they do.
You blame
It's
Dak
unfair.
or you blame Jerry.
Well, let's blame Dak.
All right. Well,
this is Dak's fault.
It probably is in your mind because in your mind, everything is Dak's fault.
Well, it has 3 letters to it, so same thing.
Okay.
The CBA.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a rule in the CBA. So it's where you play the majority of the year leading into that 5th year. Am I reading that correctly? Because it's a lot of gobbledygook and lawyerism.
Yeah, lawyerism. That's a good word.
But
made up. But good.
So that's where Micah played. In fact, every snap. I don't think he played one snap at linebacker.
Although they were in the package, just Dan Quinn never called it.
So
right?
blame Dan Quinn.
There you go.
It's his fault.
Well, I mean, but it's part of the CBA. Teams don't get to designate. And I don't know how all the back end stuff works, but it kind of feels like lawyers in negotiating the CBA kind of slip something like this in so that the teams can get something like that put in the CBA. So where they do, my hands are tied.
Yeah.
CBA says you are this because this, not me. We'd love to give you 25 instead of 21.
Of course they
wink,
would.
wink. But
yeah,
our hands are tied on this particular case. And the reality is it might come to nothing. He might get that new deal long before he gets there. But it does make you wonder when you start the negotiating process, is Jerry's first offer as a defensive end, and Micah's agent's coming in as a linebacker. So there's a massive gulf to start with. I mean, first get on the same page at what position do you play? How much does Mike Zimmer have to say in something like that as he creates his new defense? Is he now seeing Micah less as a hybrid, more as a linebacker as opposed to a defensive end pass rusher?
I don't think in Micah Parsons' case it's going to matter. He's going to get paid $30 million a year, and I don't think there's any question about that. Can you imagine, though, if this stood? Trey Lance would actually make more money than Micah Parsons.
Well, Trey Lance deserves it.
Be more than Micah Parsons.
Dude, you know how hard it is to hold a clipboard?
It's hard, especially the third clipboard.
You probably
if you're
are responsible for getting the breakfast sandwiches.
I'm sure that's true.
You got to make sure all the water cups are full. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility on that third quarterback.
If you're the third quarterback, do you actually hold a clipboard?
Well, you better.
Well, Cooper Rush has got the clipboard that matters.
No, I think Trey Lance does. Cooper's got to be ready to go in the game at a moment's notice. So he's got to have a helmet close by. He's got to maybe have a football in his hand just in case. I mean, you know, and again, the whole clipboard joke, I got that from Cliff Kingsbury years ago because he won a Super Bowl ring holding a clipboard.
Absolutely.
He used to say, man, I held that clipboard like a champion.
Yes. And he was Tom Brady scraps.
He was the third quarterback. It's a great line because it's true.
Yes. Hey, I'm not mad at him. I'd like to win a Super Bowl holding a clipboard. That'd be nice.
Absolutely. Don't get hurt, get paid well.
That's right.
Backup quarterback's pretty good gig.
Colt McCoy made a fortune doing it.
A lot of guys have.
Yeah.
You know, kid from South Lake Carroll, Chase Daniel.
Yeah.
That guy might have made more than anybody backing up for as long as he's been a backup.
Guys, that dude's still around?
Probably.
I guess he is.
I mean, he might not be in the league, but he's alive somewhere living well.
I know. I'm talking about is he around the NFL? Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a great country. I'm going to tell you that.
I mean, I remember calling a Chase Daniel game when South Lake beat Smith and Valley in a state championship game. You know how long ago that was?
Long time. Got to be, 12, 15 years?
Him in the league?
Maybe 10.
Well, would he spend 4 years at Missouri? Maybe 5.
Good player at Missouri.
Yeah, he was a good player. Played in the Alamo Bowl. Did they win that Alamo Bowl? I think they did. They won the Alamo Bowl.
He's 37 years old.
37 years old.
Still listed as a on the roster with the LA Chargers.
See?
How about that? So he's still playing ball or holding a clipboard.
Getting a paycheck.
Because
isn't he doing some stuff also with the NFL Network?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
I think he is.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
That's great.
Speaking of the Cowboys, Dallas Morning News says Tony Pollard is open to taking less money to return to the Cowboys.
You know, and I found that not surprising and surprising. And it may be that Tony Pollard's agent has told him, look, dude,
the market isn't there.
Yeah, it's not there. You know, you'd be better off if the Cowboys want you, just take whatever it is they offer. If it's $6 million a year, take it.
And again, he's going to go where the most money is.
Right. Unless.
No, I think he's going to go where the most money is. It's going to be less than what he was making last year on the tag in Dallas.
Yes.
He's still going to go where he is going to make the most, although it was going to be likely a pay cut from what he was getting. I mean, when you look at some of the free agent running backs that are out there that might make more than last year, although doubtful, like Derrick Henry is probably looking at making less. Saquon, maybe not.
Maybe not.
And everybody is getting linked, including the Cowboys, the Texans, to Saquon Barkley. But I don't know who's going to pay him the most money, right? Nobody is going to pay running backs at that level. Talking with Tony Pollard at the Super Bowl, like you and I did, and just hearing Tony Pollard tell us this offseason is going to be so different for him, because he told us it was the Carolina game before he kind of felt like he was back to normal. Last offseason was all about rehab. This offseason is all about improvement. And so you wonder, I mean, he was still 1,000-yard back last year.
He was.
It doesn't feel like he had near the year that everybody was expecting, but he didn't have a bad year. He still can't. I don't think he can still carry the load as the A1 guy. But I would expect the Cowboys this year to draft a legit running back where you're splitting carries, similar to what they did in Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Detroit drafted a guy. Everybody wondered about him. And then, one guy gets hurt. Gibbs takes over. And, but you have those two guys. I'm still a fan of Rico Dowdle, but I don't know if they're a good 1-2 punch. But I don't know how much I can judge Tony Pollard as the A1 guy based on last year. Talking to him about coming back from the injury last offseason, all about rehab. It wasn't until the Carolina game, which was week 10-ish, that he felt like himself. Hard to judge. But he didn't have the explosive plays last year that he had when he was the guy that would come in relief of Zeke Elliott.
Well, that's true. A lot of that too. I mean, I'm going to say, Mike McCarthy wanted to run the football. He didn't run the football as much as everybody thought he was going to. I think that I'll be shocked if the Cowboys don't draft a running back in the upcoming
a full-size running back at that.
Right. But I think they will. And I think that's where they're going to go. If Tony Pollard comes back, great. I think, look, Pollard's a great weapon, especially out of the backfield. I mean, he is. So it wouldn't be the worst of things if the Cowboys get him on a good deal. And it sounds like he's open to taking less money to stay in Dallas. I think he's comfortable there. And you keep Tony Pollard, you draft somebody else, and you have that 1-2 punch. And then there's Rico Dowdle, and I don't know what you do with him, but I'd be shocked if the Cowboys don't draft a running back.
And again, I expect that. I still don't know if they bring back Tony Pollard even on a reduced salary. As tight as the margins are in Dallas, with some of the decisions they have to make.
They sure are tight.
Especially while you're waiting to see ultimately what happens with Dak Prescott. Where does CeeDee Lamb's numbers come in? You got a defensive coordinator on a 1-year deal. Mike Zimmer takes a 1-year deal. Did Mike Zimmer get any kind of assurances that he'll be able to get some players that can make immediate impact? You're seeing guys all over the place getting released that you probably could get veteran guys on the cheap that put up big numbers. How much of a focus is fixing the defense? You still need some offensive linemen. Tyler Biadasz, I saw an article yesterday. Cowboys wouldn't mind bringing him back, but they think he'll make more money on the free agent market than they're willing to pay him.
Connor McGovern, that's where they let him go.
Yeah.
Right? So, boy, I tell you, it's always interesting, and we've said that a million times, but the Cowboys are, and they've got holes to fill, and linebackers got to be a priority. So there's a lot of things that they've got to take care of. But you would think, and I'm reading another article this morning on the 33rd team.
Yeah,
and it talked all about Dak Prescott and how and we've mentioned this, and it really is a lot of what we've talked about, how he's got him such over a barrel. He's got all the leverage. He's got everything that anybody would want as they go to negotiate a contract. I mean, Dak has all the cards. Jerry has none.
The idea, and if it's the same tweet on 33rd team that I saw, and I'm paraphrasing, but they compared it to marriage. They're married to Dak Prescott.
That's it.
They are so married to Dak Prescott. The old saying, cheaper to keep her.
Yes.
I think that applies here to Dak Prescott. Just stay married and go with it.
Well, I don't think they're going to have a choice. I really don't think they. I mean, if they're going to do anything this year, Jerry can talk tough and say, "Hey, we're good," even though. But if they want to do anything and add any pieces, they don't have a choice but to adjust that contract through an extension.
I agree. I've been saying that for over a year, man.
Yeah, I get it. And as hard as that is to say, because I don't want it to be the truth, it is the truth, and it's factual. And that's what I do, Minix. I tell the truth.
Well, actually, I do. And I've been trying to deal in reality.
I still don't have to like the guy. And I still think he's a loser in the playoffs. So all of that still stands.
All of that is still true. And again, you Dak lover, I mean, all of that. But I speak the truth. I can look at what's there and tell you this is what's going to happen and why. Whether you agree with it or not,
admit it.
I like Dak Prescott. I was a Romosexual.
Yes.
I'm a fan of Dak, but Dak hasn't done in the playoffs. Playoff Prescott, as I've said a million times, is not a good word. Not at all. That's what he is. But in the real world, when you look at the numbers, he ain't going anywhere. So you have to figure in the playoffs with Dak Prescott as your quarterback.
You're going to have to figure it out. We'll see. We could be talking the same. What is it, March 6th?
Dude, I've done this show for 16 years. You know how many NFC championship games I've talked about with the Cowboys?
Woo! Be talking about it again. That window's closed.
You know, I mean, you know, it's so funny because I gauge a lot of stuff on my daughter's age. You know, my daughter is 25 years old. In my daughter's lifetime, she has never seen the Cowboys in an NFC championship game, let alone win a Super Bowl.
That's a shame.
And it wasn't until very recently, like when she was in college and old enough to drink, that she knew what life was like with the Spurs not being a playoff team, right? It's insane when you think about it that way. Although the Spurs likely to be back as a championship team, the way things are looking, sooner than, say, the Cowboys get back to being a championship team. Although last night was a dose of reality for Wembley and the San Antonio Spurs. They just got their flat asses kicked. So said Pop. We'll talk about it coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. You know, the St. Patrick's Day parties at the Rue Pub, legendary. This year, going to be the biggest and best St. Patrick's Day party ever. Green beer is going to be flowing with an all-day party at the Rue Pub on St. Patrick's Day, which is on a Sunday, March 17th. Drink specials all day. Live music. They're going to have 3 bands on the stages outdoors, DJs and college hoops inside both the Rue Pub and the Angry Elephant. Party is going to start Sunday, March 17th at 11 a.m., an all-day party at the Rue Pub there for St. Patrick's Day. So make your plans now to be at the Rue Pub on Sunday, March 17th for St. Patrick's Day. Between now and then, you know, if there's a big game on, a big event, the Rue Pub is the spot to be at with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around, and show up hungry because the food is fantastic. Happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. The Rue Pub, just down from the Big Blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Rue.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle. Hey, it's time to talk some baseball. Justin Verlander won't be on the Stros when the season begins. We're going to look at where they're headed and can the Rangers repeat.
Plus, the San Antonio Spurs are chasing down NBA history tonight. What's at stake? We have the answer starting at 6 a.m.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text ENERGY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text ENERGY to 200-300 right now. Text the word ENERGY to 200-300. Don't wait, text ENERGY to 200-300.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair? What do you mean? Does it not look good? It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret. No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic. Hair volume? Up to its name, your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous. I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give Hair Volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going? I'm going to pick up some Hair Volume right now. My reunion's next month, and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at nordicUSA.com, Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy? Totalmente. And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan at an amazing price with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely. Totalmente. Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
Tonight at 7:30, it's the Aggies and Mississippi. The Aggies live right here. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. The Spurs winning streak was wonderful while it lasted.
2 games.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Man, my hopes were up. Late run for the playoffs.
No.
All right.
No, that ship sailed. But I'll tell you what, the idea of Wemby having a game like he had last night was probably good, even though it was surprising, because dude came out and hit a couple threes early, and here I'm on my underdog fantasy, it was 24.5, 25.5, and I had the over on that. He had 10 quick points and didn't score again.
Yeah.
The only one I missed on my deal. He just got work last night. He got worked on both ends of the floor, and you listen to drawing a blank. I don't have it in front of me. What's his name? Who scored all the points on him last night?
Sengun.
That guy last night said something that is very true, but we haven't seen this happen to Wemby most of the year, but it did last night.
He's so tall, really. He's really tall, but he's not that strong yet, So I was going his chest and put him under the rim. So, like I said, they didn't double me tonight that much. So I work and under the rim.
Interesting. And, I'm surprised more teams have not done that. Although
45. Sengun had 45
But
last
that's what
night.
I'm saying. So I'm surprised that other teams have not tried to body up Wemby. I mean, I think he's gained a lot of weight. He's added some bulk. But if I'm a coach, say, of the Sacramento Kings, then I'm thinking, well, we got to get physical with Wemby.
Although when you look at he was 9 of 17 against Wemby in the paint, and Wemby also blocked his shot 5 times.
He had 7 blocks, I think, right, Wemby?
Yep. Sengun was 11 of 15 against everybody else. He had a hell of a game, but I think, and Wemby didn't. I mean, obviously the guy gets 45. But what he said about he's tall but not strong yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Wemby still played well defensively against him. Offensively, a shot was gone pretty early in the game, and then of course he was in foul trouble, and I think that obviously affected the way he played, especially there late in the game.
All of those things are true, I'm sure. But again, I have not tried to get more physical with Wemby. Now, not all teams have Sengun either. And so, I mean, there's that. But if you can, and I think I'm really surprised that they haven't been able to do that. Look, it was odd because I'm watching the game, and there was a stretch there for a while. Nobody could hit anything. I mean, it was just back and forth, and nobody could do anything. But it was in the second half is when Sengun and the Rockets seemed to impose their will. And it wasn't pretty, but again, it brings us back to the reality. Here we're getting they're getting it, they're doing this. It was another learning experience for a young Spurs team.
As Pop said last night, and Pop is making a habit of very quick post-game media sessions where he does not take any questions. He just comes out, makes a statement, and leaves. And that's what he did last night.
That's what you call a royal ass whooping right there. They deserve a lot of credit. They were physical from the get-go till the end of the game. They came after it that way. They played that way. It put us in mud. We didn't respond to it very well, and you got the outcomes. Young group needs to understand the road is a lot different than at home. It requires a little bit more mental toughness. So we'll move on and try to play better at SAC.
See, I love the entire speech right there until the very end. Young team, we need to realize playing on the roads. How many games have you played on the road? And you don't realize that yet? I mean, I don't get that.
Well, wait a minute now. That was the first time this season, I think, that they played on the road with a 2-game winning streak and probably feeling pretty good about themselves, and they got their ass kicked. That's the learning experience.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know, but you got to learn how to win, and you got to learn how to win on the road.
Dude, how many road games have they played? I mean, and he's just now pointing that out. Hey, fellas, playing on the road's a little bit tougher than playing at home.
Well,
if I haven't told you that yet, I'm telling you now.
Maybe what Pop is trying to say there. Because they did just come off the rodeo road trip.
Yeah, they did.
They have
sure
spent
did,
a lot
yes.
of time on the road.
Yes, they have.
But maybe it's a different experience, a different feeling when you go into the gym feeling like you have a chance to win. And I honestly don't know how many times this season that Spurs team showed up at an arena expecting to win a game, playing like they felt like they could go out there, play their brand of basketball, and win a game. And coming off of 2 straight wins over playoff-bound teams. They didn't beat a couple of tomato cans and then go play the Rockets. They played a couple of playoff-bound teams, played extremely well, and they got wins. You go to Houston feeling like you're going to get 3 in a row. You've got a chance at 3 because things were coming together, and then they didn't. So I can see where Pop is saying, based on maybe pregame attitude, a film session, confidence in a team starts feeling good about themselves, and then that happens. So I can see where this loss playing on the road is different than the other 40 that they've had this year when playing on the road, when they showed up at the gym knowing they had no chance at winning.
That was story time with Jason.
It was good.
Thank you. That was great.
I'm trying to be glass half full.
That was story
right?
time,
That was
kids.
good, wasn't
yes.
it?
I hope you
good?
enjoyed that. You can take your nap now.
That was good. That was good.
It was great, but it made no sense.
Well,
and if this team felt good about themselves because they beat 2 good teams at home, and they are all confident going into Houston, then that's a problem.
Well, that might be, but you can't tell me that watching. I mean, they win a game and Vic grabs a microphone and cusses and doesn't know he does. The last win, you can see the way they act after a win and the way they played, their comments after, like you could see it all coming together. And what did we say yesterday? Consistency.
Yes.
Can we see that consistency? And then what you saw last night? Nope. You can't. You're not going to be consistent. And that is where I think Greg Popovich is accurate in this. You can learn from this because that one felt different. Their body language felt different. There were points in that game where Wemby looked frustrated, where other guys looked frustrated. And we haven't seen a lot of that when they were losing games because it didn't seem to matter. Last night, it felt like it mattered, and they lost.
Ime Udoka deserves some credit for that because I could hear him saying, right, we're going to get physical with Wemby.
Yeah.
We're going to get in his grill. We're going to get up in him. And Sengun, that's your job. I want you to go out and beat this young man up, and that's what he did. And you know, I think Wemby held his own, to be honest with you, for the most part. He didn't play offensively very well at all, and maybe that was because of the physicality.
Did he even take a shot in the second half? No.
But look, I think that's a blueprint. And again, you have to have the guys. Ime had the guys to do that, or the guy to do that. So, but I think I'm honestly surprised that more teams have not tried to be physical with this kid than they have. And Ime said, we're going to be physical, and it flat out worked.
You look at Wemby last night. Shooting wise, not a good game. 10 points. Man, it's been a long time since you've seen him score that few. And again, no shots at all in the second half. And if you had more than 25 and a half, you were not happy either. But all in all, he didn't play a bad game. You know, if you just look at point total and shooting percentage, yeah, he gave up a lot defensively, but 7 blocks is still incredible. He still had a big time impact, but you did see a vulnerability in his game that obviously they got to work on through the offseason in the next year. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Let's go to the phones. G Murph, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Yeah, man, I was just wanting to talk about, you know, in the blast, it says that when Pledge interviewed Wemby, and he was telling him, hey, man, you know, a lot of guys say you need to bulk up. And he says, why? What for? I'll tell others to skinny up. Last night is why he needs to bulk up, because they're going to be physical with him and make him exert a whole lot of energy playing defense, and he's not going to have good game when they body him up like that, so he needs to bulk up.
That's a great point. And again, I'm surprised that more teams have not tried to be more physical with him. And I think teams that watch him, and we'll see what Sacramento does tomorrow night, because that's their next stop. We'll see if they try to get a little more physical with Wemby. But last night, the game plan was obvious. We're going to beat this kid. We're going to get physical with him. We're going to just pound him. And they did, and it worked. And you can't deny what you saw. And so, yeah, that's something you talk about learning. And again, I wish he had learned this lesson a little sooner, because I wish teams would have been more physical with him. They haven't. But Ime Udoka had a great game plan, and he had a guy that could get it done.
And, you know, it's interesting that the caller brings up what he said about other guys need to skinny up, about bulking up. And what was that with the sit down with Michelle Beadle, or was that with Sean Elliott at the Arneson River Theater his intro?
It was early before the season, so I'm not sure who it was with. But.
So, it was Good Morning America with Robin Williams.
Okay.
I thought he said it on the stage with Sean or with Beadle. One of the two. But I know a lot of people asked about how skinny he was initially. And at 20, you know he's going to grow and he's going to get stronger. But a game like last night will have his team looking at what happened and how it happened. And Wemby might not have felt like in the offseason before he ever played in an NBA game that he didn't need to bulk up. But I do think there's got to be some concern about adding too much weight to his frame to protect his feet. I mean, you look at some of those big guys that are tall like that and the amount of weight that is on their feet.
Zion Williamson.
Zion is one. You know, you look at like a Yao Ming. You look at, you know, there are so many of those bigger guys. So I'm sure they will look at what happened last night and figure out ways to either try to avoid situations like that if you can, or how to bulk up in a very smart way. It's a lot more than just going to the Roo Pub and eating a Wemby burger every day. It's got to be, you know, which is smart, but it's got to be done in a way that that is good for his longevity, because this is a kid that wants a long NBA career where he collects a whole bunch of championships and other hardware along the way.
I don't think it's about adding weight by eating. I think it's just getting into the weight room and putting some muscle on a little bit and being a little more stocky that way, more so than gaining weight. But and that will help him. all the way around. And you put some muscle on and you get a little more physical because, look, if he's going to play center, and the NBA is so much different than it used to be.
Yeah,
and that's good for Wemby, obviously. But if you're going to play center, you're going to have to guard the biggest dudes in the gym. And Sengun is just one of those guys that is a physical ball player anyway. That's what he does. That's what he is. And there's not a lot of guys like him, quite frankly, around the NBA. And that's fortunate for Wemby as well. So, but you're going to have to go through this dude, a lot during the NBA season. And it's going to be a matchup that you're going to be a little nervous about.
And that said, though, defensively, and while Sengun ended up with 45 points, Wemby did have 7 blocks last night. 5 of those were against Sengun. He did pull down 11 rebounds in the game, 9 of them defensive rebounds. His defense last night was good, and it brings up a James Pledger conversation. As the producer of the show, he requires us to talk Defensive Player of the Year to keep Wemby in that conversation. According to Pledge, it doesn't matter in Pledge's mind if Wemby wins as long as he's in the conversation.
We're conversing about it.
We are conversing about it now. Although Draymond Green does not think that Wemby should be a Defensive Player of the Year.
He's currently second in odds to win Defensive Player of the Year, although I can't quite agree with that because they have the 24th best defense in the league. Now, that's where you kind of get into, like, his team is not that good, they're young, blah, 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 but what he's doing is incredible. But you just can't move the line like that. Like, you're not allowed to, just because he's young and the team is bad, a guy on the 24th best defense in the league can win Defensive Player of the Year.
Now, I don't disagree with Draymond on that because the team sucks. And while it's an individual award, and I will say anybody that wants to argue Rookie of the Year for Chet because Chet's on a winning team, that's the only argument you have. And you're going to lose.
You're going to lose
that is your argument. Now, Draymond is right. The Spurs defense is awful. Although Tim Legler this morning on the Get Up show with Greeny got a great stat from Hembo.
You know, when Victor Wembanyama's on the court, there's a 13-win team. When he's on the court for the Spurs, that's the 6th-rated defensive team in the league. When he's off the floor, they're dead last. That is the impact that Victor Wembanyama has had on that end.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is.
And you go back to the minutes restriction. You remember when he was on restriction? They're that good, that much better when he is on the floor.
All of that is true. But again, he's a rookie.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, rookies just don't win. And I don't think he's going to win this one. It's just not going to happen.
Although we're keeping the conversation going. Now, Draymond might think that he doesn't belong there. Although Sean Elliott, Spurs broadcaster, maybe campaigning a little bit for Wemby to win Rookie of the Year.
Look at the blocks and the steals compared to Rudy Gobert. Who's the favorite? We're in a league where reputation matters. Victor, to me, has made a bigger impact on the defensive end than anybody else in this league. That should be your Defensive Player of the Year. Not only does he lead in those statistical categories, but if you watch the tape, all you have to do is watch the film. Numerous penetrations, guys end up throwing the ball out. They're not challenging him as much because they know his reputation. They know that he is a phenomenal rim protector. So even if he was below Rudy Gobert or Anthony Davis statistically, his impact defensively is much greater than anybody I've watched all year long.
Interesting that he said that. And look, I mean, I respect everything that Sean Elliott has to say. I mean, the guy he's phenomenal. I love the guy. Look, Wemby's 7'4". All right. He's going to have blocks. He's going to probably lead the league in blocks every year. And he's going to rack up a ton of Defensive Player of the Year awards. I'm just saying that as this team is constructed now, and I know it's an individual award, it's not going to happen. It's just not. Unless something happens to Rudy Gobert, he falls with an injury, something like that. That's going to be, but it's just not going to happen. I mean, is
it not going to happen because he's a rookie or because the team sucks?
Both.
Well, see,
but it's not because Rudy Gobert at this moment in time has better stats defensively than does Victor Wembanyama. That's a fact. It's not Joe saying it. It's a fact. So he right now is the leader to win it. And if all things go as planned, he will win the award. It's just a fact. It's not Joe's opinion.
Well,
I mean, you guys sit here and look at me like,
if you want to go that route, I'm down. Don't tell me he won't win because he's a rookie.
Nobody has won as a rookie.
Nobody has done. Nobody has. There's always a first time for everything. But him being a rookie should not eliminate him from the conversation. Him being on a team that sucks should eliminate him from the conversation. Although, that Legler stat that he delivered this morning from Hembo, that's pretty damn impressive.
It's impressive, yes.
And maybe that if somebody is looking for reasons to vote for him, you go, that's pretty damn impressive.
Well, I mean, I'd have to see the same stats for Gobert. What are his stats? What are the Timberwolves stats when he's off the floor versus when he's on? I mean, let's find that out. It's easy to throw out, yeah, that's great, it's impressive. Let's see the difference and let's compare the two.
Somebody get Hembo on the phone.
Yes.
Because he can pull out stats better than anybody. Of course, that's why he's working where he's working. And then again, we're Spurs fans. Like Joseph Peterson on YouTube says, didn't know it was a Defensive Team of the Year award. Stop. But give us something to hang our hat on. But as pledge requires, we talk about it so he stays in the conversation.
He's going to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to have a closet full of Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Oh, I think they'll be on shelves somewhere.
Well, whatever,
not
wherever
closet.
he's going to put them.
I'll be up there next to your Picasso named James.
A ton.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, Rudy Gobert is your Defensive Player of the Year. And I respect all the other arguments. I do. Yes, I do. All of them, especially Sean Elliott.
Mm-hmm. But
right now, as we stand, March 6th, 2024, Rudy Gobert is your Defensive Player of the Year.
It's the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Coming up, Bill Belichick. A lot of networks want him on their team. Where will he end up? What's it going to be like? We'll talk about that coming up on the Blitz. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. You need T-shirts, screen printed, go see Sam. Maybe you need your logo on a nice golf shirt, a fishing shirt, a dress shirt. Sam will get you taken care of. You can put your logo on anything. You need hats? Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, including the popular Richardson 112 style trucker caps. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Sammy has all the big name brands like North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. Nobody has better prices. No order too small. Certainly no order too big. So call Sammy's Embroidery and Printing, 210-824-3900. 824-3900. Or better yet, go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
This is The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
This is the time of year to enjoy life. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking about lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your body's own natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you. So you can walk, run, climb stairs, play golf, and move again, pain-free. No pills, no risky surgery. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who have reclaimed their mobility. So take action now. It's a great use of your tax refund check, by the way. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys are exercising the fifth-year option on pass rusher Micah Parsons. CBA determines Micah's position. They say he's a defensive end rather than a linebacker. Going to save the Cowboys just under $3 million. San Antonio Spurs' two-game win streak came to an end in Houston last night. Team continues its three-game road trip. They'll do that in Sacramento tomorrow night.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Guess what day it is?
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Everybody, hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Hold on. Here we go. Everybody
join in.
All of a sudden, you're like you're a singer on stage. Yeah,
That's right. Let's just get everybody to join in, okay?
Do you want everybody driving right now?
Everybody driving, everybody on YouTube.
Over on 90, the 281. You just want everybody to jump in with a hump day?
Roll down your windows and just let's give it a big hump day. Y'all ready?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Hump day.
Hump day.
That was beautiful, San Antonio. Thank you. I heard you from here.
Got Claymore and Joey 21 hump daying on YouTube channel. A question from Brian. Joseph jumping in with a hump day. Brian says, question to y'all I asked the morning crew. Do you think Wendy, or maybe Wemby, although it says Wendy, will be David Robinson really good player but couldn't win the championship, or will he be Tim Duncan and get it done?
Well, I think that has a lot to do with who they put around him. That's what I think. I mean, look, Tim Duncan had a lot of great players around him. David Robinson finally got it done when Tim Duncan showed up. It's a 5-man, it's a team game. I don't care how good Wemby is, and he's very good. He needs some help. He can't do it on his own, and we're seeing that a la 13 wins this season.
Well, that's and again, the answer is, I mean, David Robinson did not win a championship until Tim Duncan was there.
Yes.
Came close a couple of times on some teams that you kind of look back and go, that's pretty damn impressive of them getting to the Western Conference Finals before Hakeem did a number on 5-0,
that
right?
Hakeem Olajuwon thing.
But, man, did you not have a flashback of that watching Sengun push around Wemby
Damn
last
Houston,
night?
Man, I hate him.
But I do think Wemby will win championships in San Antonio. And I think the idea that the Spurs front office won't do their job or players aren't going to want to come here for all the reasons throughout the years. Oh, nobody wants to go to San Antonio, which is kind of BS, by the way.
BS.
But I do think you will see players that will come here that you never thought would because they want to play with Wemby because they know titles are coming. I mean, in a similar way that people went to Cleveland that never wanted to go to Cleveland before. And then they went to Miami. Of course, everybody wants to go to Miami, but
Sure.
they weren't going to Miami in droves until LeBron was there. You see it in Golden State, they were able to get guys. So I do look at that and say, Wemby will be that guy for the San Antonio Spurs.
I don't think there's any question about it. And the players are going to want to come here. We've heard that from the national media just in the last couple of days. That players want to come here and play with Victor Wembanyama. It's going to happen.
We heard it last year before he was officially a Spur, but when the Spurs had the number 1 pick, Dame Lillard wanted San Antonio.
He did.
I mean, he did.
But look, I don't know if Dame was the right guy at this point in time. Maybe not.
Could you imagine what Wemby would be right now with a real point guard?
Well,
if he didn't have 30 some odd games with Jeremy at point.
Well,
I mean, Trey's done fine, but Trey will be a great backup point guard on this team for years to come.
That's the decision that Greg Popovich and crew made. That's what they did. They didn't want Dame Lillard because they're going to take Wemby and do what they've done this year. I hope that attitude, and I think it will change as we move into the offseason and they get this young man some players that he can partner with that get the best out of him and that he can get the best out of them as well.
Got a lot of people on YouTube chiming in with their hump days. Alexandra,
yes,
Claymore,
thank y'all.
Joseph said he felt the ground shake a little bit.
I did too, Joseph.
Dogs are barking all over Eisenhower.
Uh-huh. Just feel free to roll that window down, driving down 410 or 1604 or 151 or Highway 9, wherever you're at. Just get that big hump day. Make you feel good. Make you feel good.
Yep. Let's do the headline blitz.
All right.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
Raise your hand if you're up on all the lawsuits facing Cowboys owner Jerry Jones.
I thought I was.
I thought I was too. And honestly, I feel bad. I don't remember this one. I see this headline that comes in. I got an email from the Dallas Morning News. Breaking: Jerry Jones sexual assault trial delayed. Yeah, I see this come in just a few minutes ago. And I'm like, all right, whoa, all right. And I'm thinking, it's that DNA test that he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's,
well, that's not sexual assault.
No.
Though.
And so I was like, well, that's a random headline.
Yeah.
And I expect some sort of delay there before he has to give a sample. And, we're kind of up on that one. So I obviously clicked the link and I'm reading about this one. I don't remember this one.
No.
The sexual assault lawsuit against Cowboys owner and GM Jerry Jones was delayed ahead of this month's expected trial. The lawsuit initially filed in September 2020 before being dismissed and then reopened was filed by a South Carolina woman who alleges Jones kissed her on the mouth and forcibly grabbed her without her consent in the Tom Landry room of AT&T Stadium after a Cowboys game on September 16th of 2018.
2018?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anybody remember this one? I kind of, maybe. It was closed and then reopened.
What, they find some DNA or what? A blue dress?
Defense attorney Levi McCathern said, quote, Mr. Jones' testimony will be that he doesn't remember this woman at all. He doesn't remember the pictures he was shown of him posing with her, and obviously vehemently denies that ever in front of the media, his family, all these kids, just grabbing a woman and grope her. He said he did not sexually assault her, and categorically false is how he describes the allegations.
So it's been delayed. Do we know how long it's been delayed?
No.
Okay.
Let's see. deadline for the attorneys to meet is March 20th. Defense previously requested trial pushed back to March of 2025 to allow additional time to conduct discovery.
March of 2025.
Uh-huh.
They pushed it back a year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You think that, I mean, at this point, I mean, if you were just hoping for a money grab and a settlement, but Jerry apparently is, well, although he got a delay, but, and then you got the other one from the kid that claims he's dad. And, with that one, there's no admission of anything except for he paid the mother off. And she's saying, well, that was a deal with my mom, not with me, Dad.
I need a little cash too.
Uh-huh.
All those allowances you missed as I was growing up.
That number was pretty good back then. That's not so much now. And again, that was a deal with mom, even though I was a minor at the time. Now I'm an adult and I need some.
Now, look, I mean, Jerry, I'm sure, was quite the wildcat back in his day, as we all were. But, rich young dude out there from Arkansas doing all kinds of stuff. I'm sure stuff happened. Now, this one, I don't, we'll see.
I have been around Jerry Jones many times in public. One, he's got a security guard. Always there. Very close to him.
Yep.
Guy's name is David. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I believe Jerry is very aware that everywhere he's at, there are cameras pointed at him. To think that, kissed her on the mouth and forcibly grabbed her without consent in a public setting at the stadium,
at the Tom Landry room,
the Tom Landry room.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and who knows? But there's cameras everywhere.
There are. Well,
he might have posed with her.
According to what you said, there's pictures of him posing.
Yeah.
But Jerry poses with everybody.
I know.
So,
I mean, he didn't kiss me on the mouth or grope me last time we took a picture together.
I don't imagine why not. Jeez. How did he resist?
Well, you too.
Oh my gosh! I'm waiting. My lawsuit's being filed. Okay.
A lot of things you would do.
I'm still talking with my attorney about that and seeing if there's any pictures.
I mean, should I sue the man because he didn't? I
Exactly.
feel neglected.
Yes.
What's wrong?
I can't believe.
Good Lord.
How did he resist that?
Talk about RPPs. That's why you keep lawyers on staff.
Well, and I'd like to be one of Jerry's lawyers. They're making a lot of money these days.
These days? His entire life.
Yes. Woo.
You think they get an hourly rate or just salary?
I'm sure they're on retainer, right? Isn't that what attorneys call that thing?
Sure.
Or he just,
having a attorney on retainer just means they're available to you, but every time they do work, is it a billable hour?
Sure.
Right?
I would assume
so. If this thing gets pushed off till March, boy, there's a lot of billable hours. I thought about your case today, Jerry. 3 hours.
Yeah.
500 per.
I was sitting on my yacht in the lake over there in the ocean.
I sent you a text. See how you're doing. 2 hours.
Yeah. Jerry probably never sees that. That's some accountant that he's got that pays that bill. I mean, I would think he doesn't worry with that.
Imagine the Joneses putting together their budget. We got our entertainment budget. We got our travel budget. We've got this budget. We've got our legal budget. Why is the legal budget so big? Because I get sued, it seems like every other day.
I don't think the Joneses put together a budget. I don't think they're sitting around the kitchen table saying, all right, we got to cut back on the going out to Topgolf this week.
You're talking to the wrong guy.
Yeah, there might be. Yeah, you think he sits around and says, we haven't watched that Peacock app in a long time. What are we paying that?
Yeah.
Do we need Netflix still? When was the last time we watched Paramount? I don't know. Do you think he does that?
I don't think so.
You got to save a little money here.
No, Jerry doesn't worry about the things that you and I and everybody listening worries about it on a daily basis. The light bill's fine. No problem. Water bill. He's got no issue with that.
Do you think he knows all the businesses he owns by name and all their managers?
You know what? Jerry probably does. I bet he does. Jerry's a hell of a businessman. And I think that that's important to him. I would bet that he does. Now, I have nothing to back that up with, but if we had a little contest or whatever, and that was a Mercedes on the line or something, I'd bet that he does.
I mean, and who knows how many houses the guy has,
Yeah.
or cars, but I know they got a ranch. They probably got, like, do you know how many cars he have and when the insurance is due on those? When the inspection sticker?
I bet Jerry doesn't worry about any of that. He's got some dude or some girl that does that, and he doesn't have to worry about it.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if you're a rich dude like Jerry, who's a billionaire, he's got the little helicopter that drives him, takes him everywhere.
Imagine the insurance on that.
Yeah. I love watching him take off in that thing. He just goes and flies around.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to worry about traffic. He's got his landing pads everywhere he goes. A Star in Frisco, AT&T Stadium.
Dude, his landing pad at the Star is the field. Oh, I got to stop practice. The boss is coming in.
That's Jerry.
I was up there one day, and to make him feel real, he got off the helicopter, and he had, I don't know, a couple of suits or the jacket on hangers, and the guy gets off the helicopter, grabs his stuff, has his bag and his clothes on the hangers over his shoulder, and people are walking with him, but he's carrying his own stuff into the office. And I thought, if that were me, somebody'd be carrying my bag. Somebody would be carrying my laundry, but he's a real dude. He's carrying his own stuff.
That's what I think is sometimes, even if you have all the money in the world, life's got to be somewhat normal at some point in time. And so that for Jerry was his normal day.
Carrying
I'll
stuff?
Just carry my own.
Yeah, my normal thing.
own.
I'm going to land on my helicopter.
My $2,000
Some guy's
suits.
going to open the door, and I'm going to carry my own suits. I just thought that was cool.
I like Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's great.
Cool guy.
He certainly is. A variety of networks have begun pursuing Bill Belichick. One of those is Peyton Manning's Omaha Productions. It will be interesting to see what Bill Belichick ends up doing next year. And I'm still kind of curious if I want to see him on television. I've watched some stuff that he's done where he is very interesting and somewhat entertaining, not judging him based on his press conferences. Kind of how I feel about Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's press conferences were robotic. His interviews were robotic. I think Jason does a good job on television. And I've been around Jason Garrett in a social setting where he's funny as hell. I wonder if Bill Belichick is the same way. So, but what Peyton Manning wants to do is do a coach cast with Bill Belichick and Nick Saban.
Wow. Trouble sleeping? Watch this.
Well, I mean, but imagine if you're doing a coach cast with those two guys, they're not doing play-by-play, but you get those two guys talking about formations and plays.
Dude, I don't watch Peyton now. I want to watch football. I don't need all the crap going on in the background. I know a lot of people like it, but I don't want to hear what Nick Saban and Bill Belichick have to say about Dak Prescott throwing another interception.
Oh,
I've heard it all.
Here we go. Well, that was uncalled for. But a lot of people like that.
And that's great. And they can.
and they do. I just wonder how would that be riveting television? I would almost rather those two guys do a breakdown show. You remember the show that Jaws used to do on NFL Films where they would go in and break down a variety of games? It was Jaws. Who all was on that show?
Merrill Hodge.
Merrill Hodge.
In Sal Pal, I think, right?
NFL matchup.
That was a show like that with those two guys. I don't want to watch them in the moment watching a game. I know a lot of people do enjoy that. I'm not one. I'm like you. Peyton Manning, depending on the interview, I might watch it. Or if it's a bad game, it's a good alternative to make a bad game entertaining. A good game, I want the true play-by-play. But I would love to have those two guys doing a show where they're talking about the game, what went right, what went wrong. Because so often we talk about, and we have to guess here, was that on the receiver or the quarterback? Who was making the mistakes? And you sit around with coaches. And I'm always just fascinated because I can learn, especially if they're showing film.
No, it's something like that may be good. Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. Obviously, Peyton Manning thinks that would be good. And so let's see it. And I'm sure he's going to make something happen. Bill Belichick will probably get an opportunity to be on TV somewhere. So we'll find out how good he is or how long he wants to do that. I would imagine Bill Belichick. I've never met the man, honestly. I've never talked to him. So I'm making an assumption here. I mean, if you're Bill Belichick, you really want to mess with all the TV people and the lights and the schedules and all of that. I don't know if that's a Bill Belichick thing.
If Bill Belichick wants a job next year, you got to stay relevant in front and center this year.
Not if you're Bill Belichick.
I think even more so at his age, you better show. Because all these guys that go on TV seem smarter, and that's how they get back in.
That's true. That's why Sexy Rexy was up for jobs.
Absolutely.
Huh?
But if you look at Bill Belichick at his age, to show that you are current, to be front and center, to be something other than what everybody has seen for 20 years as the hoodie in New England, I think it's important for Bill, if he wants to coach again, to be front and center and very visible this year. Because if he's on television, coach gets fired midseason, Bill Belichick's going to be talked about almost immediately, right?
Well, he probably will be anyway.
Especially if he's front and center. Especially if he's front and center.
I think there are some guys that, look, if a college called Nick Saban or anybody, I mean, you're not going to forget Nick Saban. You're not going to forget Bill Belichick just because he's not on TV.
No, but you do wonder if the game is passed him by. His age, is he enjoying retirement? It's like Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
I mean,
he quit. He
quit, but he did a little bit of television. He spent a lot of time at the track.
Yeah.
But he did do a little bit of television initially, just in case. And it keeps you in the game. It keeps you somewhat associated in the game.
I hope Bill Belichick doesn't coach again. I hope it's kind of like a
He's
player.
so close to the record.
It's like, I know, it's like a player though. They stay too long at the party and you want to remember them as great as they were. I think Tom Brady was getting to that point, as a matter of fact. And it was all like, just go already.
Man, and there's a lot of money in TV too, without the stress. And you talk about the amount of money in television. It's something that could be a very interesting Pandora's box situation.
Whew.
There's a report out from Fox that Fox is reportedly considering an NIL deal for Caitlin Clark to convince her to stay in college.
Yeah,
because Fox broadcasts their games.
Yeah, I think she's already made that decision. Obviously, money could possibly change her mind. She's got eligibility left, is one thing, and they obviously want her to stay around. I mean, the ratings for that game on Saturday were off the chart when she set the record, so they want her to stick around. I think she wants to go to the WNBA, but I've got a problem with this. I mean, are we going to open up this box now where ESPN, Fox, CBS, NBC, you name it, can now start paying players to stay?
Well,
or to, I mean, what kind of a problem does that open up?
You wonder a couple of different things here. Is Caitlin Clark a one-off, and is it because she's a female basketball player and she's helping with ratings? I don't know of an individual college athlete that draws ratings the way Caitlin Clark does. If you're a football player, if you're a men's basketball player, those ratings are there. There isn't, especially on the men's side right now in college basketball, that one player that you're going to tune in and watch, like Zion, what might have been the last one. Zion's playing, we're all watching, right? And we were all watching when that shoe blew out, right? I mean, there's not a college basketball player like that on the men's side. I don't know if there's a football player that could do this. So it might be a unique Caitlin Clark situation. But also, I think in college sports, we're not that far away from some sort of revenue share with the TV revenues that they're already going to be getting paid TV money. Fox is a business, and and any business can sponsor a kid. But what happens when ESPN has a game? I mean, I don't know how this is going to work. It just seems weird that a TV network is talking to her like, dude, stay, and we're going to pay you more. And you look at WNBA salaries, and she'll probably end up on the high end. The WNBA salary maxed out at $235,000 in 2023. The average was $113. The minimum $62, which again, for as short as the season is, and the WNBA is a part-time league for most of those players who make most of their money playing overseas. I don't know. Should she stay? Should she go? If you're a fan of the NFL money.
Well, she's not going to. I just can't imagine that she would. And what's Fox going to do? What's their plan? Is this just to get all the money that they can for 1 year or 2 years or whatever, however much eligibility she has left? And then she's going to leave eventually. What if she it'd have to be an enormous amount of money that they're going to pay her. They would have to be, because if she got hurt and her career couldn't continue, I mean, all kinds of stuff. And I just don't. Well, I just don't like TV networks doing that. And again, it just goes to show that college sports is spiraling out of control with everything that we're happening. When you talk about a TV network paying a player to stay, I mean, that's ridiculous. And so it's got to be regulated. If they want to pony up and throw some revenue in there, fantastic. That's great. Then let's have this thing organized, not just, hey, we're Fox Sports and we're going to pay you. But what about the rest of the players?
The 2023 draft rookie salary for the WNBA, picks 1 through 4, their first year base was $72,000. And again, you look at the numbers and you look at the endorsements that she already has.
Yeah,
she's one that could turn pro and take a pay cut.
Well, she's going to make that up. I mean, she's going to make
national endorsements.
She'll get endorsements.
She's got that ability. And I do look at Caitlin Clark as kind of that outlier individual athlete that is drawing eyes to a sport that most people aren't talking about or watching on a daily basis. I know there's a niche fan base for it, but
I watched the game the other day because of her.
The general audience, she has that ability to draw people in. And I don't know of another male college athlete right now in basketball or football, for that matter, that is must watch. Now, could Arch Manning, who has opted out of EA, when he becomes a starter, or a lot of people that first game going to watch the Longhorns that normally wouldn't watch the Longhorns because they want to see Arch?
Sure.
Based on the times we saw him go into a game, he could be that next individual type player that has that kind of effect on a game. But right now, it's Caitlin Clark and nobody else.
Well, he could have that effect, but the difference is, as it sits right now, Caitlin Clark got it done. Now, Arch Manning still has to prove himself. He's got the name, got a lot of expectations, but he hasn't done anything.
No, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a draw. People are going to tune in to watch this.
The only reason Caitlin Clark is a draw is because of what she did on the floor. That's the only reason she's a draw. You didn't know who Caitlin Clark was 2 years ago. No. You had no clue. No, nor did I. What makes her attractive is because of what she's done. Arch Manning has done nothing. Makes him attractive because he's got the last name Manning.
He's an attraction.
Well,
and that's what it is.
If he goes and falls on his face in college, then he's not going to be an attraction anymore.
But we're all watching. And that's what Fox is looking at, is if she stays, ratings next year are up. And
then she leaves, and then what does Fox do?
They go back to what they were.
I guess.
I mean, they're all short-term investments when you're talking about college athletes and NIL deals.
Unbelievable.
We've seen that. It's long-term investment coming for the Dallas Cowboys in the form of Micah Parsons. They're going to pick up that 5th-year option, although you're seeing stuff on the internet that isn't true because of the designation that Micah Parsons is getting. Why it's not the Cowboys' fault. We'll explain coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. As we start gearing up for the weekend, and it's going to be another great weekend, you're going to fire up that grill. Before you do, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market, because that great meal starts with great meat. Locally owned and full service, they have everything you need to up your grilling game. Beef, chicken, pork, fajitas, poppers, and so much more. And if you've been looking for good, thick-cut bacon, they have started making their own and selling it there at Tri-County Meat Market. I got some the other day. My goodness, that bacon is fantastic. So if you want some great bacon, some beef ribs, some pork ribs, some brisket burgers, their fajitas, whatever you're looking for, Tri-County has what you need with the quality you expect. And you can always take advantage of their Pick 5 for $25, and they always offer a 10% discount for military and first responders. They have 2 great locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Huebner, or online at tricountymeat.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle. Hey, it's time to talk some baseball. Justin Verlander won't be on the Stros when the season begins. We're going to look at where they're headed, and can the Rangers repeat?
Plus, the San Antonio Spurs are chasing down and what's at stake? We have the answer starting at 6 a.m.
You know, it is March the 6th, and that means spring is just right around the corner. And with spring is going to be those storms. You know what I'm talking about, the thunderstorms, hailstorms, all of that kind of stuff that can take a real toll on your roof. You want to make sure your roof can withstand that kind of battering. That means you need to call Stevens Roofing, because really a quality roof overhead by Stevens Roofing means comfort. It means confidence, and it certainly means peace of mind, protection for all of the things that you love. Look, if you're in the market for repairs, you need a replacement roof, an upgrade, or you just want to make sure your roof is okay, you need a team that is experienced, that brings local roots, value, and a vast knowledge of their craft to every job. That describes Stevens Roofing to a T. Give them a call and make sure that roof is okay. The number to call is 210-785-0994. You can also get them online at stevensroofing.net. Call them. Get ready for those spring storms. They're coming, whether you're ready or not. So get ready. Call Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994.
My name is John. I could not lose the weight I needed to. The Institute for Functional Health Wellness Program was the answer. It included a great deal of testing, supplements, and weekly face-to-face doctor visits. I finally had the accountability I needed. I am now 50 pounds lighter. I no longer have pain in my elbow, back, and hips. I have more energy and just feel and look so much better.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB today. If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax. Touchdown! A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax, 100% natural male enhancement formulas, only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now, during Staples Print Big Sale, get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Big Sale. Print more, save more. Up to $100. Ends 4/6. Visit staples.com/print for details.
When a cold comes on strong, try DayQuil's Severe Honey flavor. The daytime, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, Honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a Honeylicious taste, so a cold won't back to your day. Feeling relieved, enjoying the delicious flavor of DayQuil Severe Honey. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor soothes your symptoms with a delicious taste. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tonight at 7:30, it's the Aggies and Mississippi. The Aggies live right here. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Got an email from the, I don't know, the people that keep track of all the signups for our golf tournament. We're down to 7 teams.
Wow.
So we're a couple weeks away.
Seven
teams, I think 2 individuals, if I counted right. So get signed up, sasportstar.com. Our Spring Golf Classic coming up on Monday, March 25th out at the Golf Club of Texas, presented by Flight by Yingling. Sign up as a foursome. It's $100 a player, $400. Individual, there's a couple of, somebody signed up needs friends. So if you're in that same boat, it's $120. You're going to have a shot at $50,000 and a trip to the big game presented by Ancira Auto Group. Then our after party, the Blitz, going to be live out at 90 Proof Bar and Grill there at Highway 90 and Lucky Ranch Road. But get your team signed up, sasportstar.com.
And I guarantee you're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes.
That is a guarantee. Regardless of whether you win a prize or not, most likely you will. But you're going to have a great time.
You are going to have a great time. That we do guarantee.
Yes.
Hopefully we have great weather. We leave that up to one guy, Bill Taylor, to make sure that we have great weather. That's on you, Reinagel.
On me?
You.
Yeah.
Aren't you Billy T?
No. But I play him on TV.
Yeah, that you do.
We're not 2 weeks out yet, are we? Not quite.
Not quite.
Monday, and then I can my little handy dandy app goes 2 weeks out.
Yep.
So I'll let you know on Monday.
There you go. So, jumping on social media earlier today.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of people hammering the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry Jones is trying to screw over Micah Parsons.
I know it.
What the hell? I mean, they're going to pick up Micah's 5th-year option. No surprise there.
No surprise.
And he might not ever even see that 5th-year option because he'll get a new deal. Maybe the new deal will start after the 5th year. Whatever the case is, it's a formality that they have to do. There's a date on the calendar. They got to get it done by this date. People are up in arms thinking that the Cowboys are screwing over Micah because they've got him designated as a defensive end and not a linebacker. Now, it's about a couple $3 million difference.
Poor Micah.
Yeah, Parsons as a linebacker would get $24 million in 2025, but as a defensive end, that salary is $21.32.
Trey Lance would make more money than Micah Parsons.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
But it's not Jerry's fault.
No.
It's not the Cowboys' fault.
No.
They are not screwing over Micah Parsons by designating him as a defensive end, even though that's what he plays, as opposed to a linebacker, which is what we think he is.
You know, it's funny how people just react. It's Jerry's fault. It's all Jerry's fault.
Well, everybody
trying to screw over the Cowboys.
Everybody
again.
wants to blame
Over
Jerry.
Jerry.
Hold that thought. We'll get back to it. But it's the CBA, the CBA that sets your position based on all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
Jerry has nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it.
They get a bill and it says, defensive end. Now, it's probably one of those bills that they got and they were like, all right.
This is great.
I mean, because they're saving $3 million.
Sure.
But in reality, this isn't the Cowboys screwing over Micah Parsons. Now, where it could come into play when Micah's agent gets involved with the Joneses and they say, here's the number, and it's based at linebacker number. And the Joneses say, well, here's our starting point based on defensive end numbers. And so there could be a pretty big gulf there when you look at the starting point of contracts based on position. What we all know, though, Micah Parsons is going to end up being the highest paid defensive player on planet Earth for about 5 minutes.
Yes, he is.
Right? I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
Whether it's as a linebacker or a defensive end.
Look, Micah Parsons is going to get paid. It's just a matter of when he's going to get paid and how much, and it's going to be outrageous, and that's just the way it's going to be. No, Cowboys want Micah Parsons around for a long, long time, and I don't think anybody disputes that or has an issue with it. So this is just a formality, had to do it. But, yeah, it's funny how Cowboy fans just get all up in arms about, we can't screw over poor Micah Parsons. $3 million, that might make the difference in him, living at this address or that one. Poor Micah.
But it's not the Cowboys screwing him over.
No.
The NFLPA sets those.
So go tell all your friends that are crying about it that it's not Jerry's fault.
Don't blame Jerry. In fact, if you're Joe Reinagle, has that video been published yet on the San Antonio Sports Star socials?
It's been posted on Instagram.
Right.
I think that's the only place that I know it's been posted.
There is a great video. Now, I haven't.
Well, thank you.
I haven't seen the edited video, so I don't know what's on the social because Joe went long on the video. But I saw the raw part of it. And the scowl that Joe Reinagle makes at the end is worth watching the entire video for.
Absolutely.
So make sure you watch the video all the way through because the scowl at the end is priceless.
Well, it's just I'm trying to help my fellow broadcaster not make a fool out of himself. Love RG3, but he need to pull that foot out of his mouth.
We get to suck on that all week.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it is. Go to the San Antonio Sports Star Instagram, watch the Reinagle video about RG3, fellow Copperas Cove alumni.
I think it's all over the place. You can go to mine, you can go to San Antonio Sports Star, you can go to yours, I don't know.
It's on mine.
It's not on yours. It should be.
I didn't get a notification.
Wow.
That's why I wasn't sure if it was.
You know what's interesting about when they post these things is like they send you a deal where you have to become a collaborator.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Well, it's your video, so they didn't. I didn't collaborate.
You're not collaborating.
It's just you in the SA Sports Star.
But I appreciate though the compliment. Good video.
Well, it's a good video. I don't agree with you at all, but it's a good video. And the scowl at the end.
Well, of course you don't agree with me.
Is priceless.
It is
the scowl at the end. I mean, you must have woke up angry. Did the coffee machine not work today?
No, it worked just fine.
You had enough coffee this morning?
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Everything was great today.
All right.
And so I'm trying to do my fellow broadcaster a favor. He goes on a national TV show and makes an asinine statement. And so I'm just trying to help him out by saying, stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You're too good. You're better than that.
You actually didn't say that.
Well, it's what I was getting to.
Oh, okay.
I only had a minute. I mean, if I go on a rant for another, I could have gone on and on and on.
Sure. It's possible. Go watch the video on the Instagram page of San Antonio Sports Star or Joe's at Joe Reinagle 210. Is that your Instagram? Joe Reinagle 210?
Yes, it is.
We always give away our Twitters.
That's the same thing, right?
And see, that's it. I'm Jason Lennox, whether it's on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, Reinagle at Joe Reinagle 210. Oh, look at that. They added some RG3
some
in
words.
There. Did they tag RG3 in that, or should I just text it to him?
You really should.
We should try
I'm
to
not
get
afraid of that.
I know you're not. We should get Robert on.
That'd be great. It was such a beautiful day and nice background and all
no
of it.
Picasso back there.
No Picasso. I decided to go outside where there's some nice green trees. And
what kind of trees are those?
Those are called, I
Trees.
have no clue what they're called, but they make little red berries.
They got dingleberries?
Well, I guess you could call them that. The birds like them. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're beautiful trees.
Mhm.
And so I just, as you can see, just out of the shower, all freshly cleaned up, hair done.
You look angry, and the way you're just you're just it's like, dude.
Well, it's
Joe's grumpy today.
It's the only thing that was missing, because I don't have them anymore, is yanking the glasses off.
Oh, that's that would have happened.
There's no doubt.
That would have happened.
I don't know what this scowl you speak of, though. I haven't seen that.
Oh, you haven't seen that?
Well, I'm sure I've seen it.
Well,
I just
Pledge has it on our screen up here. It's great for the radio audience. But
sorry.
Let's watch
Can we
it.
put that on our YouTube channel?
Can we? Well, if Ryan is paying attention, it would probably already be up there, but he's not. So he's. But wait till you get to the very end. Look, wait till you get to the area. You're starting to sweat. Your face is turning red. This video is great. Like, get off my lawn.
Yes.
Yeah, wait, the scowl is coming. Yes, the scowl is coming. We're almost there. Now,
it's almost
now you're
there.
getting fired up. The blood pressure is raising. Look at that scowl at the end.
Wow.
Woo!
Damn, that was an impressive scowl.
Go watch the video.
Impressive.
On the San Antonio Sports Star Instagram
Maybe
page.
my best scowl of the
comment
of the day.
You had dad scowl all morning long. I blame no coffee.
Woo! No, I had 2 cups of coffee as usual this morning. It was great. Everything went well. Went to the gym. We got my car washed. It was a beautiful day.
And then you went home and did that?
And then I went home and did that.
What pissed you off at that moment to take something we talked about yesterday? It's still bothering you the next day, and you made a video without being told. Most of the time, they got to come, hey, man, can you make a video? All right, sure, I'll do that.
Well, it's just,
you just did that on your own. That's been bothering you for more than 24 hours.
I respect RG3, and I just could not have him. I couldn't. I was going to let it go, but I just couldn't. And it was still when I opened up ESPN this morning. There it is. And so that's what it just reminded me.
Yeah.
That he said something really stupid, and I had to help him out.
Go watch the video at Joe Reinagle 210 on the Instagrams, San Antonio Sports Stars Instagrams. And when you're there, follow all that kind of stuff.
Please
you know what we're
that.
doing. Now, if you want a scowl on your face, and it's one of those things that you hear about it and it does. Hey, you got to be kidding me, especially when you know what the Cowboys did and what they didn't do. I saw. My wife showed me a headline, and I guess it's the difference between the social media targeted ads.
Yeah.
What they send to a lady versus what they send to a guy. But my wife showed me a headline on her Facebook page. You know how they always have these different stories. And it said Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother, Jason Kelce, retires. Because maybe that would make my wife read it. The Jason Kelce retirement speech, and he didn't really start breaking down until he talked about his teammates. Football is football. Relationships are there.
Yep.
To give you an idea of what kind of guy Jason Kelce is, before his press conference, he had his ankles taped up.
Which was weird. People were looking at that like, what the hell's going on?
The guy that tapes the ankles there is fighting cancer.
Yeah.
One last time for that guy. And Jason Kelce. You think about the relationships that you build through the locker room. And then they do this great podcast, the New Heights podcast, one of the best podcasts out there.
Sure.
Because they're just real and authentic. And then you realize what may have been. Because Travis Kelce, who is dating Taylor Swift, if you're unaware.
He is. Wow.
Back in the 2013 draft, said that, maybe he could have been a Cowboy. They interviewed him at the Combine, and he tanked it.
At the combine, I had some bad interviews. The Cowboys, they were kind of pressing me about having this red flag of missing a year.
Being suspended for a season?
Smoking weed. I don't know if I was having a bad morning. I basically was just, I don't even know if I want to say this.
Time out. What'd you say?
It ended really fast. I basically just said, if you guys think I'm going to be that kind of guy, or you're questioning if I'm still that person after everything that I've battled through to get to where I am now from missing a season, then you guys probably go somewhere else and pick somebody else.
And
That is exactly what they did.
They took your advice.
Oh, they picked up that superstar by the name of Gavin Escobar.
R.I.P.
Drafted him in the second round, and Kelce was taken by the Chiefs in the third.
A lot of teams passed on. And again, this is why the draft is such a crapshoot.
Oh,
right?
it is, yes.
There is nothing more comical than when you see pictures of the Kelce brothers when they were at the University of Cincinnati. They don't even look like the same people.
No.
Right? and keep in mind, Travis at the time, was suspended for a year, had some issues. There was all kinds of stuff going on. There were red flags everywhere. And Gavin Escobar at the time was, I mean, smaller school, but that tight end that's more of a wide receiver. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people celebrated that pick when it was made, if you remember at the moment.
I do.
And then you quickly realize that was a mistake. And then I remember seeing and talking to Gavin when he was playing for the San Diego Fleet in the Alliance. And then his football career was over. He became a firefighter, and now he's not with us. Tragic accident, right? You're scary. But to think, they could have had a Travis Kelce who went in the third round. So that means everybody passed on him a couple of times, some 3 times. But man, it does put a scowl on your face when you think, he could have been.
Could have been. Well, Joey Bosa. Or was it Joey Bosa? It could have been. Or is TJ Watt?
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt, but we went with Taco Charlton.
Yeah. I knew it was one of those brothers.
I mean, now JJ Watt, interestingly enough, was picked right after by Houston. The Cowboys took Tyron Smith.
Okay.
So they, both teams, it worked out pretty well.
It did. Not bad at all. It's just funny. I mean, you could go through the drafts of the last 20 years and see mistakes by every team.
Absolutely.
Where they could have had this guy, could have had that guy, but yeah. Interesting. Can you imagine Travis Kelce, Dallas Cowboy?
I mean,
I mean, as he turned out.
I could hear it now, right? RJ Ochoa on the morning huddle talking about how the Cowboys have wasted another career of the greatness of Travis Kelce because he couldn't get him a Super Bowl. I mean, I could hear that now.
So the Cowboys have wasted his career. Is that what RJ said?
Well, the Cowboys have wasted the careers of a lot of players, like a Tyron Smith, by not getting them to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's the Cowboys' fault. That's Jerry's fault.
That's Jerry's fault.
Of course, it's Jerry's fault.
I mean, it comes full circle, does it not?
Of course,
it comes full circle.
It's Jerry's fault for wasting the career of one Tyron Smith.
I mean, you think about all the great careers, all the great players that have never won a ring, yet with the Cowboys, it's their fault that they never got it done as a group. It's crazy.
Well, they don't have Jerry Jones as an owner.
Yeah, well, that's it.
So it's Jerry's fault.
But part of me says, you know what? Do we applaud the Cowboys in 2013 for passing on a guy like Travis Kelce, who had a bit of an attitude problem and some other issues, had red flags?
He did. And now he's wearing them in Kansas City. Red flags and red pants.
You can always change. I mean, Travis Kelce was all right.
Was he have 3 rings now?
Yeah, but he was an okay player until he had Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback.
Well, that tends to make people better when you have a quarterback that makes people better.
What do you think? Alex Smith sucks then?
I'm just saying.
I mean, that's what I just heard.
Well, and
maybe
and several others that I could mention that don't make players better.
Yeah. You coming Dak full circle?
I mean,
you can say it.
Did I mention Dak?
You can say it.
Did I mention Dak?
You can say it.
I didn't mention Dak.
You can say it.
Dak. I said there were others.
You can say it. Go
like,
ahead.
I love you, Dak.
Like Dak? Yes. Like Dak.
I'm a Swiftie.
Glad you crack yourself up.
Oh, I do. I love you, Dak.
That's not as good as the one Pledge has on the
I
hockey.
love you, Dak. That was perfect.
Oh, let's do it again.
Almost in unison.
Let's
No,
do it.
see, it's organic. I don't think we could.
This is not organic.
We could stage that.
I mean,
I love you, Dak. See, you ready? 1, 2, 3. I love you, Dak. Woo! Well, we're on our A game here today, huh?
we're on our A game every day.
Of course. But it's the A
holes.
What?
That's a good one.
What the hell was that?
I like that one.
What was that, Pledge?
Who is that?
Chris Pratt.
I love that. That was a good one. Can I hear it again?
Here we go.
Showtime, a-holes.
That's good.
Right
man.
angle is so easily entertained.
I love that. Hey, I enjoyed my job. What can I say?
I thought you were going to say you enjoy your jokes.
Well, I do. I enjoy them, even if nobody else does.
The king of dad jokes.
That's it.
Joe Reinagle.
I need a floater.
Here we go.
It's showtime, a-hole.
Not near as good as Chris.
No, not at all.
You got to work on that.
Showtime, a-holes.
I love that. That's awesome.
You know, we put that in the open as opposed to the ancient audio of the Cowboys winning a championship.
Yeah, I'm surprised it was even taped back then.
Oh, it's real to real.
Yeah.
It
Got
is.
it with razor blades.
It is Blitz. Here, nobody knows what that means.
Oh, sorry.
Not cocaine related
No,
with
no,
razor
no.
blades.
Back in the day, you had to cut tape with a razor blade.
Razor blades. You had this little thin tape.
Yes.
And grease pencils.
Uh-huh.
And you would on the reel to reels, and every DJ that you knew had little cuts all over their
Absolutely.
fingers. It was such a pain.
It was a pain. Yes.
Absolutely. And a lot of us carried razor blades like in your wallet, which is always good until some officer or something might say, "Can you empty out your wallet?" And you go, why do you have that?
Yeah.
Well, I work in radio, sir.
Sure you do.
Why are you bringing this to the airport? I forgot it was in my wallet, sir.
Mhm.
Not that ever happened.
That and half a straw that's laying there.
That never happened either. I don't know what you're talking about in the old KTFM morning show days.
Oh, my goodness. Don't even start.
Story time.
No.
After hours.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should have an after-hours blitz.
No, we really shouldn't.
That'd be fun.
Dude, you and I are in our car by 6:01,
You ain't kidding.
speeding down.
I know it.
Pledge is like, hey, who wants to come up?
Oh.
Injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip ER and get straight to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
Riding I-10 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
I have to confess, I was very excited to call 911. Finally, a good one, and I realized that while what I'm about to say is true, it sounds suspicious. So I'm like, my wife fell down the stairs.
From his multiple Netflix specials, comedian Tom Segura brings his new tour, Come Together, to Frostbank Center Friday, March 8th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joe, I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all quarter moon 14-seer AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joe, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M16004. EACLA 000743458.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year. Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save.
Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Scott, you've got a question about radio stations?
Yes, I do. Back in the 80s, when JD and I guess Bobo were doing radios, why did stations sound so different, like in a car or something? Were they compressed or something like that?
Bob? Cocaine.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Cowboys are on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Houston Texans have locked up their place kicker, reaching a 3-year, $15.9 million deal with Ka'imi Fairbairn. That makes Fairbairn the 4th highest paid kicker in the NFL. Dallas Cowboys exercising the 5th-year option on pass rusher Micah Parsons. He's going to get $2.7 million less than he would if he was a linebacker, but the CBA determines that, not the Cowboys.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Guess what day it is?
Joe Reinagle.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump Day!
Hump Day!
Everybody, come on, join in. Hump Day!
Hump Day!
I think this should be a group exercise now.
No, that's all you.
Everybody driving around San Antonio, roll down your window and give them a big Hump Day!
Hump Day!
What day is it?
Hump Day!
Hump Day!
Here we go.
I love that camel. I do.
He is Toe Ryan Eagle. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Wembley Wednesday. Although maybe today we'll just stick with Hump Day after what we saw last night.
Wasn't the greatest night for one Victor Wembanyama last night?
One of his worst.
Yes, as a San Antonio Spur, for sure.
Yes.
He'll get better.
Well, of course.
He's got potential.
It was an off night.
Got potential.
He'll be all right.
No, he's fine. Sacramento up next tomorrow night in Sacktown. I love how Pop said that. See how we do in Sac.
Okay.
I never liked Sacramento. I don't know what it is. Sacramento. It's just kind of a dump.
You don't like the city.
The city.
The city itself.
Yeah.
Sacramento, California.
Sacktown.
Sacktown.
Yes.
Why do you hate Sacramento?
Well, it's just kind of a bleh. It's not you said way back in the day, you used to travel quite a bit with the Spurs when they were
good.
Well, no, but when they were, they're on Kins 5, they still are. But back in the day, we actually used to travel. That went away when news director said, we can't be doing that. So anyway,
wow.
it was a lot of fun. So, Sacramento was a place that I'd go from time to time, and just like San Francisco or Minnesota or wherever the Spurs happened to be playing, because I was doing sidelines.
Okay. So the games that were on Kins 5.
The ones that were on Kins 5. So I would actually travel to the city.
On the team plane or?
No. Pop does not allow that unless you get a paycheck from the San Antonio Spurs.
They didn't pay you for that?
No, the Spurs did not.
Oh, cheap.
No.
What?
No. But that's been
I know
the rule.
You didn't work for free.
That's been Kins 5 paid the tab.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, it was that's a rule the Spurs have. Unless you get a paycheck from the San Antonio Spurs, you are not allowed on the team plane.
Unless you're one of those big sponsors who write big checks to them. There's a couple of trips that you get to go on every year.
Right.
But as a broadcaster, no, you're not. Because I was trying to think. I know you guys used to travel quite a bit for playoff series. We at the radio station would only go to the finals. So that was nice. Couple of trips to Miami.
Oh yeah,
in June in 13 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
But when because I was like, man, Sacramento, there weren't many playoff series against the Kings back then.
No, none. But there were some Kings 5 games.
Yeah,
against the Kings, and especially out west like that, because they wouldn't start till 9 or 9:30 San Antonio time. And so
you didn't have to do a 10 o'clock. So you go home early.
Well, I didn't. What are you talking about? Go home early. So you blow out the 10 o'clock because of the deal. So we'd always have a pregame show 30 minutes before, and then a postgame show.
Oh yeah,
afterwards. So a lot of fun.
When I got distracted by a comment there. Fred Villarreal says on our YouTube channel, wonder if Madonna flew on the Spurs plane when Rodman was around back in the day. I don't know if she was ever on the team plane, but I can tell you she cussed me out one day.
Yeah.
When I called over there, Dennis used to do when at the time, it's in this same building here, but on KTSA back in the day, he used to come on every week, every other week with Scoot in the morning. And mind you, this was, way back, right? Like
Spurs didn't know about that, did they?
No, they did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because a couple of times, Tom James would be here. Dennis would pull up in his Porsche or his big truck.
All right.
I used to go to parties at his house and lots of stuff going on, except for sometimes he'd never even see Dennis. Like he'd be upstairs and never come down. It's Jack Cayley's hosting the party or some of the other stuff. But I used to have to call him at 6:30 in the morning to wake his ass up so he would get up and drive over to the radio station in the morning. they didn't do it over the phone then. You literally would come in and do that. And of course, he was selling T-shirts and all kinds of stuff. This was
Sure.
when Bob Hill was the coach, right? Things were a little different, back then. Maybe even Lucas. It was before Pop was the head coach.
Sure.
So I call over there one day, and a lady answers the phone, and there's Dennis Ferris, and she just cusses out and then hangs up the phone. Words I can't say on the radio.
Well, I would imagine not.
So I call back, and she answers the phone again, and then I'm like, "Hey, Dennis has a radio appearance coming up." Like I was, firm, and it's like, "Dennis," and then when Dennis got to the station, I asked, "Was that Madonna?" He's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I was like, "So I got cussed out my Madonna," and he's like, "It's not fun, man."
Yeah.
So I mean, but
you got that going for you.
Yep.
Yeah, you can tell the grandkids
I got
that.
cussed
They're
out
gonna
one
say,
time
who's Madonna?
They might. They might. She's the material girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's a cool story. I remember Dennis. We had to go get him at All Stars once. Him and Jack Haley. Yeah, because he had his own chair there.
Yes, he did.
And he would throw just money out everywhere, and the girls were all around him. But yeah, we're gonna do an interview with him, and he said, "Yeah, I'll be at All Stars." So we had to go to All Stars to get the interview.
Did you do it inside?
No,
or outside?
No, we actually went inside just for a minute. To get him to come outside.
Oh, is that what it was?
Of course.
Uh-huh.
But then we got right outside immediately.
Did you do the interview where you could see the sign All Stars?
No. Because you remember All Stars, and I don't remember it very well.
Hey, did you see it just recently closed?
It did.
Well,
I'm sure they lost a lot of money once Rodman left.
I mean, that was in the early 90s. They hung on for a long time. Because Rodman also had a chair over at Shotgun Willie's.
I'm sure Rodman
is now called the Palace.
Yes, had chairs everywhere. But at this
particular J.R. Reed,
this particular day, he was at All Stars. So yeah, I'll never forget that. I mean, all in TV boy in a suit walking into All Stars, and there was Jack Haley sitting on the arm of the chair.
Jack was on the arm?
Absolutely.
That
dude.
seems kind of odd.
Didn't it?
He didn't have his own chair?
Dude, Jack Haley he followed Rodman around. If Rodman would have stopped, Haley's head would have been halfway up his behind.
Jack was tall. I doubt that.
Well,
but I know what you're saying.
Yes.
Although I having never been in the strip club with those two, I would have thought Jack would at least had his own chair.
I got right out of there.
No.
I mean, immediately. It was like, I can't be in here. I work for Ken's 5.
There are some strippers that used to work off Wurzbach that want to disagree with you.
Well, I like porn. Oh my goodness! Now that's for the after hour show, Minix. And that was back before myself and my good buddy Bill Taylor. And I don't think he'd mind me telling this story.
Uh-oh, careful.
But I mean, he worked weekends at that. This is when we first started at Ken, so nobody knew who the hell we were, so it was okay to do that.
What's that place called?
Yeah, gee, we used to call it. We used to call it the 19th hole. So we'd play golf and then head in there. So that was many moons ago.
There was a time. I don't know if we can tell this story or not.
Yeah, be careful.
Remember the fantasy draft that we had over
at Hooters,
and then we ended.
Yes, I do.
We draft like at 11 and get home at 3 the next morning.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I was a knucklehead back in the day, and you were too.
Oh, absolutely.
So
still might be.
We had fun.
What day is it?
Hump day.
Hump day.
Woo.
Speaking of hot seats. There is already a list out for NFL coaches on the hot seat as we go into next year. You won't be surprised at who's number one on the list. We'll talk about it next on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
First, I got a message for you that's going to change your dental game in about 60 seconds. Let me ask you a question. Are you fed up with the same old dental routine? You know what I'm talking about, those endless trips to the dentist, dealing with missing teeth, temporary fixes that never seem to stick. Well, buckle up because I've got the answer. Doctor's Implants. At Doctor's Implants, they're board-certified oral and facial surgeons. Well, they're ready to transform your smile. Don't let old school dentistry hold you back any longer. Embrace your future with full mouth dental implants at Doctor's Implants. You can check them out at doctorsimplants.com. But here's the kicker. When you call them at 210-640-0000, tell them that I sent you, Joe Reinagle from the Blitz. You're going to get a complimentary consultation and a CT scan. Your journey to that perfect smile begins at Doctor's Implants. So don't wait. Call them right now, 210-640-0000.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill on the corner of Highway 90 and Lucky Ranch, 10 minutes from Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
If you're a pro and flooring is your game, we'll help you win it. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. You want decor? Try. You want plumbing? You're out. LL Flooring has been helping pros knock it out of the park for over 30 years. Visit one of our 400 nationwide warehouses for one-on-one service, extensive inventory, and exclusive pro pricing. Get the pro treatment you deserve. Enroll today, online or in-store. LL Flooring, every step covered.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
If you've been thinking about buying a new car or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, think Ancira.com. Browse through thousands of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and RVs. Shop for your next new Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Ford, Buick, or GMC. Or if you're looking for an import, we have a huge selection of Kias, VWs, and Nissans. Or for your home away from home, a full line of RVs and campers. And you'll always get the lowest Ancira price, in-store or online at Ancira.com.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax, 100% natural male enhancement formulas, only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Tonight at 7:30, it's the Aggies and Mississippi. The Aggies live right here. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Wembley Wednesday. A hump day at that.
Hump day.
That was weak.
Well, it was. But
Hump day?
It's not time yet.
No. It is almost time for our golf tournament coming up March 25th at the Golf Club of Texas. Brought to you by Flight by Yingling and Sierra Auto Group. After party over at the 90 Proof Bar and Grill. Only a handful of teams left, 7. If you've been thinking about it, whatever, we will sell out. We always sell out. I know a lot of people do like to wait till the last minute just to make sure about the weather or whatever. Get signed up. sasportstar.com.
You're missing out if you're not there. I'm telling you, it's fun. So sign up.
Get signed up. The way too early talk about what coach is going to be fired first next year. It's comical, but then again, it's not. There's already an article out about 5 coaches on the hot seat going into 2024. What I find interesting is 3 of the coaches on the top 5 list are from the NFC East. and the NFC East is either NFC Beast or NFC Least, right? But it is interesting that both the Cowboys and the Eagles have coaches on here. Maybe not surprising that Brian Daboll is on the list, although Brian Daboll did wonderful things his first year. Last year, because you got to have players.
You got to have players.
It also is very much a what have you done for me lately? Brian Daboll from the Giants is number 5 on the list. He's 15, 18, and 1 in 2 seasons with the Giants, although they were a playoff team a season ago. Nick Sirianni, who was in a Super Bowl not long ago, is 34 and 17 in 3 seasons. He's made the playoffs every year he's been there, and yet he is on that list.
That collapsed though last year. And I don't blame him for being on the list. That was just a monumental collapse by a team. What were they, 11-0?
At one point.
Then it just collapsed.
At one point, yet nobody wants to talk about their culture. Robert Saleh is on the list with the New York Jets, 18 and 33. He's never made the playoffs, but he does have an Aaron Rodgers coming back. Matt Eberflus from the Bears, 10 and 24 in 2 years. No surprise he is on that list. And then you come to Mike McCarthy, 42 and 25 in 4 seasons with the Cowboys, 3 playoff appearances, 1 monumental playoff collapse, no contract extension. Number 1 on the list, Mike McCarthy, Dallas Cowboys.
Well, he should have been fired for what he said. We have established a championship program. We just haven't made a championship yet.
We have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
Yeah. Get it right, man.
He should have been fired for that alone.
I mean, if Jerry fired somebody every time they said something wrong, he would have been fired in 1991. And you and I would have been fired a long time ago, too.
Well, true.
I mean,
Mike McCarthy.
Don't fire people for saying stupid things.
Well, I
have that in my contract.
Yeah, right. Well, we say stupid things all the time.
Exactly.
Especially you. But Mike McCarthy should have been
fired. Especially when I credit you.
Yes,
you're right.
Mike McCarthy should have been fired this year. He should have been fired or given an extension. I just don't think he's a lame duck. And if the Cowboys start out, I don't know, 2-2, is he fired? If they're say 3-4 after 7 games, is he fired? I mean, you're going to be game 1. If they should happen to lose that game, people are going to be calling for his head.
Are you kidding? They might have a bad quarter, and we're going to call for his game, his job. But the reality is, whether he signed an extension or not, if they started off 2-2 or 2-4 or whatever, we would be calling for his job, whether he had the extension or not. It does what I am going to be curious about with these players. Now, granted, most of this team has been around Mike McCarthy for a long time. Dak Prescott has gone through a coaching change, so he's got something that he can compare it to. You know, Micah Parsons, he's only played for Mike McCarthy. He only knows the Cowboys way. D. Law's been there a long time. You get, if they bring back a Gilmore, bring back a Cooks, those guys have been in other programs. But it is going to be very interesting to see how these guys respond to a Mike McCarthy or a Mike Zimmer, knowing that there's not a contract beyond this year.
That's a great point.
That is when you look at and why you don't want a lame duck coach or a lame duck boss. I mean, let's look at the high school level, right? A coach or a teacher is retiring at the end of this year, and your attitude is a little bit different because that guy's not going to be in that job for very much longer. So how are you going to respond to that person when they say that? Now, the difference here is, and this is, I think, Jerry's point, Jason Garrett one time went into the final year of his contract. He was lame duck. He got a new contract. So if anybody wasn't as respectful as they should have been, well, guess what? He was still your boss. Jerry's fired a guy in the middle of the year in Wade Phillips. I mean, if they're professional and they're mature enough, Mike McCarthy not having a contract extension won't be a big deal. But it will be interesting to see how much of a big deal it is next year from the players. Fans and media, and I'll include myself in this too, because I'll if they start 0-2, 1-4, whatever, I'll be calling for his job too. We'll have Steven on, dude. Why is he still here?
And he won't be.
But the extension gives you some security, but the non-extension makes it such an easy talking point if they are off to a bad start or go through a bad stretch. And I can't believe Jerry would allow that to happen.
Well, does Jerry really care?
No.
I mean, he said, we're going to be just fine if we don't give Dak an extension, and we'll be okay and still be able to do everything we need to do. It's not fair to Mike McCarthy. Now, granted, it's the NFL, and I don't really care about fairness.
Here we go.
When it comes to that, because that's the way it is. But you either fire the guy and start over, or give him an extension. Having him go into this season as a lame duck coach, knowing damn good and well, unless the Cowboys start out 7-8-0, then you're going to be calling for Mike McCarthy's head, and he could be a midseason casualty.
Now,
the fact that you've got Mike Zimmer coming in on a 1-year deal is another thing. I mean, how can you do anything in 1 year? You really expect Mike Zimmer to come in and make this defense that much better than Dan Quinn did? I don't know what kind of players they're going to bring in. They got a lot of holes to fill, but that's no way to build a team unless you are truly going to go all in. And I don't see that happening.
Well, we saw what Mike McCarthy did to Dak Prescott in that Cowboys offense last year in his first year as the offensive coordinator, play caller, after they parted ways with Kellen Moore. You already have a good defense, damn near historically great could-be defense in Dallas. So now you've got a different guy calling those plays. So maybe, unlike when Dan Quinn took over, it was a disaster. Mike Zimmer is not taking over a disastrous defense. Now, I will say, when you look at what Jerry is doing, he gave Mike McCarthy a 5-year contract. You got 5 years to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't gotten it done yet, so he hasn't really earned the extension. But he also hasn't earned a firing. He doesn't deserve to get fired after what they've done last year.
So you just leave him hanging in the wind, just blowing in the wind. That's what you do?
You're fulfilling your contract. I gave you 5 years to get it done. You still have 1 more year to get it done to earn that extension. And you use the term fair, and I agree. I mean, it doesn't seem right because you do have a lame duck head coach. But Mike McCarthy hasn't done anything to this point to deserve to get fired. 36 wins over the last 3 regular seasons is hard to do. That's impressive.
He's 1-3 in the playoffs.
He's 45-25. You're right. He's 1-3 in the playoffs. He's been to the playoffs 3 of his 4 years. He hasn't won the Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal. But apparently, they're a championship team just without a trophy.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a blue ribbon. And so part of me, you're rarely am I kind of undecided on an opinion, but I can see Jerry Jones. Well, you don't deserve to get fired for the job that you've done, but you haven't yet earned an extension. But I gave you 5 years. I'm going to give you 5 years to get where we want to go, because you don't deserve to get fired, but you haven't yet earned an extension.
Jerry doesn't want to pay Mike McCarthy the final year of his contract to go sit on a beach somewhere.
Jerry doesn't give a damn about that $5 million. There's no salary cap for coaches.
I get that, but
he's paid a number of coaches not to work.
Well, who? One.
Well,
Wade Phillips,
Chan Gailey, Dave Campo. I mean, all those guys had time left, right? I mean, Jason Garrett's the only one whose contract expired. He showed up and the key card didn't work anymore.
Look. Unless you're going all in, as Jerry said they were going to do, however you want to interpret that, then I don't see it happening. And I don't see hiring a defensive coordinator on a 1-year contract. That makes absolutely no sense to me. If you're going to start over defensively because you had to, and Dan Quinn got the hell out of there as soon as he could.
Well, that's not true.
Well, he did.
No, I mean, he could have left last year. He thought it was there. And again, you look at this defense. They just need a different driver right now. They're not having to rebuild the defense. They'll come in, they'll fix a couple of things. He's renting. He's not doing a complete remodel, but he's going to make his rental house his home for a year.
Well, I sure as hell hope he makes some changes, because the defense as it stands sucks. I mean, let's face it. You could sit here and say, they're great defense. They have 47 points to the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. And before that, they weren't very good either.
Very good and sucks. I don't know that I would say the Cowboys defense
Did they suck in the playoffs?
They sucked against Green Bay. That doesn't wipe away everything that they had done throughout the year.
They got a bunch of holes to fill. There is no question about it. You don't know if Stephon Gilmore will be back. You have no clue. So
he
may have to go
be
somewhere else. Just because he wants to be.
But again,
I want to win the lottery tonight. You think I'm going to?
That's the Cowboys' option, though, if he's going to come back or not.
Okay,
right?
sure.
Right? So if the Cowboys are going to let him walk, and he told us in Las Vegas when we had him on the Blitz on Super Bowl that he wants to come back.
Sure.
Same with Brandon Cooks. We had both of them on at the same time. So you look at some of the holes, a lot of those decisions are really up to the Dallas Cowboys. Have they earned the right to come back? And you look at Bland, and you look at getting Diggs back healthy. You look at some of the holes you're going to get overshown. I expect them to draft on the defensive side. The biggest hope for next year, does Mozzie Smith develop into something, and can that dude be an impact player?
And that remains to be seen. You've got to have, I don't know if overshown alone is your answer.
No,
maybe
but he's
he is,
a
maybe
part
he's
of
not.
it.
But sure, he's coming back. Perhaps he's coming off a very serious injury too, as is Trayvon Diggs.
What happened in the preseason?
That's it's a very.
But that's the good
Stephen
news.
Jones said, did he not? It would be this summer before we know, or before he can come back. That's a serious injury.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, both of those guys coming back from serious injuries, and I just don't see that. Everybody expects Mike Zimmer just to, wave a magic wand and you've got a fantastic defense again, because that's what it seems like. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen.
I don't know about making magic wands. All I know is Dan Quinn was described to us by, was it Lombardi, as a 2-pitch pitcher?
Yeah.
And that Mike McCarthy's talking about his 3 pitches that Zimmer brings. The difference for Mike Zimmer, the big difference for Mike Zimmer, different attitude for sure. But he's taking over a defense that, say, is on the plus 45, 40-yard line. He's not taking over at the 20-yard line and trying to move down the field. He's not taking over a defense that was a disaster like Dan Quinn did. There are holes to fill on that defense, but not a ton of holes. That's still a very capable and good defense, maybe a great defense. And that great defense fell apart when Leighton Vander Esch got hurt. That's the biggest hole they have to fill.
And you're not going to have Leighton Vander Esch, so you're going to have to find a replacement for him. And who's that going to be?
Well, I mean, that's the Cowboys front office, but literally that is the biggest hole that the Cowboys have to fill defensively, is somebody that can replace a Leighton Vander Esch.
And look, you're going to have the same guys that couldn't stop the run last year lining up. And can they stop the run this year?
Well,
it's the same thing.
And again, their run stopping issues became very apparent when Bell was the linebacker and not Vander Esch.
Well, they got four guys up on the defensive line, do they not?
You're right, but everything you listen to all these different experts, everything was a pass rush type of deal, and that allowed guys to run past you. And the idea is your linebackers clean up the mess. And if you have an undersized linebacker that can get blocked easily or tackle broken, you're going to see what happened. And, we'll see how well they fix it, but they're not as broken as you make it seem.
No, they've got some players. I'm just saying there's some holes that they've got to fill. And if you're expecting Mike Zimmer to come in and just work miracles, I'm not sure that that's fair.
I don't think that they need a miracle.
Well, they got to stop the run. Do we agree on that or not? Okay.
Yeah.
And they got the same guys there on the front defensive line. So if Dan Quinn if it's his fault and he was running the wrong kind of defense,
we'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. I think it's a far cry from needing a miracle and a couple of tweaks and fill some hole. Every team is different, but the idea, the mentality, all of that, they need some guys that can perform in the playoffs. They got some great regular season performers. They've got to find some guys that can perform in the playoffs.
The Buffalo Bills just cut their entire defense. Go get some of those guys. Dude, I'm not kidding. They must have cut like 5 guys today from that defense.
I again, nobody talks about the bad culture in Buffalo and all that. And, I don't remember Buffalo celebrating a Super Bowl, but let's go those guys who have yet to perform in the playoffs.
I'm just saying. I mean, they cut just about everybody. It's comical. Mm-hmm. It's comical.
Mm-hmm. Nick Saban talking about his departure, what led up to his retirement. Interesting ESPN article about Nick Saban and Alabama football. We'll dive into that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Parkhurst New Vision. I'm coming up on a year for my lens replacement surgery. I think it's May, right around May timeframe. So it's a little less than a year, but we're coming up on it. And I tell you what, this year has been fascinating because of just the way that I see life. It's been unbelievable. No more readers, no more glasses, none of that stuff because of Parkhurst New Vision. In fact, my results were so great that my wife got her lens replaced as well, and she is loving life. It's incredible to be able to walk into a restaurant and not have to pull out your phone for the light or grab your readers or whatever the case may be. It just changes your life. And look, they can do the same for you. Parkhurst New Vision. Give them a call, 210-585-2020. You can also check them out online at sanantoniolasik.com. Give them a call, set up a consultation, go in there and let them know that I sent you. Will you? Joe Reinigle from the Blitz, and then ask all your questions. They're going to tell you what they're going to do, and everything is just going to seem so easy and so seamless. It's incredible how they operate at Parkhurst New Vision. Best in the business. Call them today, 210-585-2020.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle. Hey, it's time to talk some baseball. Justin Verlander won't be on the Stros when the season begins. We're going to look at where they're headed and can the Rangers repeat.
Plus, the San Antonio Spurs are chasing down NBA history tonight. What's at stake? We have the answer starting at 6 a.m.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Roo Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Something bad has happened to Mom.
Streaming March 14th on Peacock.
Joy Delaney, mother 4, has gone missing.
From the author of Big Little Lies and 9 Perfect Strangers.
She will come back. You think we're this, big, happy family?
I have a confession.
Starring Oscar nominee Annette Bening, Sam Neill, Jake Lacey, and Allison Brie.
Secrets will poison any family, and what you don't know can hurt you.
Apples Never Fall. Streaming March 14th, only on Peacock.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Dave Ramsey here for my friends over at Connecticut in San Antonio. Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy. So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it. It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association. The team at Connecticut San Antonio can test your water, install a system, and provide treatment all without stepping a foot inside your home.
I'm Chris Canepa of Connecticut and San Antonio in the Hill Country. I'll let you try a Connecticut quality water softener for 90 days absolutely free. Call us at 656-PURE, that's 656-7873, or visit us on ConnecticutSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
San Antonio is Aggie Country. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yeah, Andrew's got to work tonight. Aggies have Mississippi State. You can listen to it later here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. It is the Blitz. When you think about coaches and, you know, the way they've done it, I find it interesting. A very interesting read today on ESPN.com. Fascinating reporting and writing by Chris Lowe, how Alabama moved from Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer in 49 hours. And they've got sit-down interviews with all the key players and then other sources. This is a good read, but it's not a quick read, but it's very detailed from what it's like to hire somebody in the college football world, and the fact that, you know, that Sexton guy runs everything because he's the same agent for everybody. You got Sarkin here and all the Norvell and Lane Kiffin, and, you know,
very happy guy
and
all, rich.
Yeah, exactly. He controls college football in a lot of ways, and the hiring process is pretty fascinating as well, and how quickly it goes. And you can relate everything that DeBoer went through in losing a national championship to getting a call to take over Alabama, and you think about what a guy like a Jeff Traylor goes through, and then all these other coaches who get linked to a job that, until you get the job, you're still working your current job, but then a fascinating read. But what really I found most interesting was the Nick Saban quotes on why now. And it really isn't a surprise when you think about the why now. Sure, his age is certainly there. He talks about, all the assistant coaches that he loses, and it's all that. And, one of the things that he gets asked a lot, by a coach, how long are you going to be here? And if you're honest with those guys that you're trying to hire, I don't know. And a year ago, he told his athletic director, we might have to go year to year to this thing. He didn't like the way his team acted and reacted after losing in the playoffs. I don't think he likes today's player.
Well, I mean, if what he is saying is true, the players just basically threw a fit in the locker room and moaned and cried and did everything else because they lost. It's one thing to be sad, but I mean, the way he calls them, they acted like donkeys, asses.
He said, quote, and he does say it wasn't the reason, but those events certainly can. I was really disappointed in the way the players acted after the game. You got to win with class. You got to lose with class. We had our opportunities to win the game and we didn't do it. And then showing your ass and being frustrated and throwing helmets and doing that stuff, that's not what we or who we are and what we promoted in our program. Kind of interesting.
Well, it is interesting, and I can only imagine what the atmosphere was like in the locker room if that's the case. And it got look. Nick Saban's probably seen it all. I mean, he's seen it all. He's had players and teams that win. He's had teams that have lost, and for this to really kind of stick with him, I can only imagine what the atmosphere was. But it's just. Look, college football is just it's a disaster right now in a lot of ways. Look, the product on the field when you watch on Saturday is fantastic.
Yep.
It's great. But it's the behind the scenes stuff that's going on, and it's getting worse. And I'm afraid that product we see on the field that we love so much on Saturday is going to suffer eventually because of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes.
Well, one of the things that Nick Saban said in this Chris Lowe article at ESPN.com, once they got back to campus and he's meeting with the players, he says it was apparent that his message wasn't resonating like it once did. He said, I thought we could have a hell of a team next year. Then maybe 70 or 80% of the players you talk to, all they want to know is two things. What assurances do I have that I'm going to play because they're thinking about transferring, or about how much are you going to pay me? And that's college football of today. Part of me chuckles because isn't that what every coach does? Every coach that was linked to the Alabama job got an extension and a raise from their current university. But from the player's standpoint, because the portal is open, it is no longer about, I want to play for Alabama. I want to play for Texas. I'm going where the most cash is.
Yes. And that's why you need I would love to see college football be NFL-like. Let's just make it NFL-like. And everybody, if you want to operate under a salary cap and you have a free agency period and you have all of this, I don't know why that wouldn't work. And to me, seems like the best answer. But everybody's got to agree to this. The reason we're in the mess we're in today is because states told the NCAA to go jump in a lake and filed lawsuits and got their own thing. So California was going to pay their players while everybody else wasn't. And so the NCAA had no choice but to just say, okay, let's just open it up. They flew their hands up in the air and said, the heck with it. And we've got the wild, wild west.
And how do you put toothpaste back in the tube? And it's not often anybody, especially me, says we need federal government involvement here. But I think in this case we do, because every state law, this state law might be different than that state law. Everybody's got to play by the same set of rules. Mm-hmm. Conferences are doing the best things for their conferences. Can there be a commissioner. We've heard a lot of people talking about that recently and who that might be. One of the most recent, former Aggie coach Jimbo Fisher, who was on ESPN Radio's Undisputed show, and he even talked about the need for a commissioner, although that guy probably shouldn't be Nick Saban.
I would find one guy that oversees college football, just like you do in the NFL. You have one commissioner, one thing, so everything is fair across the board, no matter what your conference is. Man, everybody says Nick should be the guy. You know what I'm saying? He knows, but okay, what about the bit? But he still, I'm not saying he doesn't, but somebody's got to have the business end of that, because TV and marketing right now, and the amount of money for the players, the coaches, the schools, and everything that goes on, you have to manage that too. And I think we're heading that way.
Absolutely, we're heading that way. Look, Jimbo's been there. He knows what he's talking about. And when you see coaches like Nick Saban, who's 72 years old, I don't know how much longer he would have coached anyway, but it doesn't sound like he wanted to retire when he did. He wanted to continue on, but just say the heck with it, I'm done. I mean, how many more coaches are going to do that?
You know, I look at a guy like Nick Saban. The impact, the relationships, because he even talks in this article, the relationships with players today aren't what they used to be. And that's unfortunate. That's what, you know, drives a lot of these guys. And again, we'll go back to, say, a Jeff Traylor. What does he always talk about? Man, those relationships with players, whether you're talking about players from his high school days at Gilmore to now. I think about, you know, my relationship today still with Hal Mummy, my high school coach. You know, there is something about that coach relationship. You know, I was talking on the phone today with Danny Closa, who retired from Lee High School, and we were talking about a variety of different things. And, you know, I told Danny, I was like, man, I know the impact you have. If we're having a beer at the Rue Pub, or like when he does the All-Star game with me, the amount of former players that come up to say hello to him and talk about. Yeah. And what's amazing to me is, you know, with all the players that he had throughout his time, you know, especially older ones now, how's the wife? How's the kid? He knows their name. I mean, you know, it's all about the relationships. And one of the things Nick Saban says in this article, goals and aspirations are just different. Now it's all about how much money can I make as a college player. He says, quote, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying it's wrong. We've never been where we're at right now. And, you know, building programs and relationships aren't built on who's paying the most. And you wonder what kind of guardrails, because I do think the NIL and the NIL is here to stay, and it should be. It's about damn time that college players are making some money. And I fully expect some sort of revenue share with the gazillion-dollar TV deals that they have in place and the ones that are coming down the pike. But the transfer portal window, so you're recruiting high schools, you're recruiting other rosters, and you're recruiting your own. And I thought they were going to go to one signing day, and they're talking about going to 3,
which is ridiculous. And look, it's about regulation, Jason. That's all we need. I'm not opposed to players getting paid. Let them get paid. Let them share in the revenue. All of that kind of stuff, I'm not opposed to. What I am opposed to is what Nick Saban's talking about. And the only thing is, it's not about playing football for Alabama anymore. It's not about playing football for Texas anymore. It's about, am I going to play, number one? And number two, how much are you going to pay me? That's it. If Texas, if you're not going to pay me, I'm going to go over here to Mississippi. Mississippi, are you going to pay me? No, I'm going to go to Nebraska. If Nebraska, and you're all over the place. And that's the issue. Regulation is the key. Somebody's got to figure this thing out. I'm just afraid it's going to get worse if they don't.
Agree. The crazy super conference that we all keep hearing about is probably more likely. And we're going to have different levels of college football. You're going to have the paid level, the highly paid level, and you're going to have everything else. Yeah. You know, right now we call it Division I, Division II, Division III. And it might be like that, because the conversations they're having on campuses, you know, up in Austin, College Station, Tuscaloosa, different but similar to the ones they're having over there at UTSA. Very different, I'm sure, at UIW or at Trinity. And it will be interesting to see how it plays. But the one thing that I hear consistently from all these different college coaches that are talking is, you know, the money's fine. We'll find the money, the collectives, it's there. But we need more of a commitment year to year. Not year to year. So you wonder if there's going to be 2 or 3 year contracts. See, that's the thing. Scholarships are year to year. right? Now, you say you're getting a 4-year ride, but it's year to year. You've got to earn it every year to get your scholarship renewed. You wonder if that will change. But also, I look at all these coaches, and what's the thing that we've heard from college coaches forever? They want assurances. They're constantly getting raises. They're constantly getting more years added to their contracts with buyouts that are crazy, Jimbo. Because just like these players that want assurances for playing time and money, coaches want that as well. Anybody that's under contract, if you have a job right now, whatever it is you do, and you're a contract guy, when your contract is up, all right, what's the next one going to look like? And until you get the next one, you want to make, you don't want to be like Mike McCarthy and a lame duck guy.
The difference in college, though, that's not their job. They're there for 4 years if you're lucky.
Yep.
2 perhaps. That's not their job. That's the difference. Everybody wants to compare this with coaches, and they can do this and they can do. That's their job.
It is.
The player is not their job. They're either going to go on to the NFL and play, or they're going to go into the business world. It's not their job. They're there for a very short period of time. So raises and this and all of that, that to me is just foreign. Well, it's a stop, a 5-minute stop in your life.
In the grand scheme, yes. But in today's world, I think we have to start looking at things differently than what it used to be. Because it used to be, oh, come on, you're getting that education and you're on scholarship and all that. Those days have passed. We got to stop thinking in those ways. I almost think you talk about that 5-minute stop in the grand scheme of your life. It's almost like military, like I was in the military, and you go to boot camp, you go, you get promoted while you're in, and then you've got a decision to make. Am I going to re-enlist or am I going to get out? And, so I think, I had a contract, had an enlistment agreement. I knew I was locked up for this amount of time, but I knew I couldn't do anything at that amount of time without getting in trouble anyway. But once that commitment was up, then I can either decide, am I going to stay or am I going to go? And I think that's what you kind of need to look at with these college kids. We'll give you this money. You're getting a scholarship, but you got to be here 2 or 3 years. You can't decide after 1 year because, you didn't get it your way, or you're not playing like you thought. I'm going to hit the portal because the coach yelled at me.
I agree with all of that. The only difference is you've only got 4 years and you have no choice after that 4-year period's up. You're done.
Yep.
You're out. So it's a little bit different in that scenario. And so that's the difference. College coaches have made that a career. So the raises and the contracts and the movement, that's just like anybody else in a job. For college football players or any athlete, it's a short amount of time. So it should be regulated. I agree with you that there should be a commitment of at least 2 years. You've got to, if you're going to come here and we're going to pay you this money, you've got to be here for 2 years. Or if the coach leaves,
sure,
we'll give you an exception. But otherwise, you got to give us 2 years. And I think that's only fair.
At the very least. Not everybody can hit the portal window at the same time. And we're just talking about football.
Yes.
You look at some of those other sports, and it's just as crazy, although the numbers in those other sports isn't near the same when you look at roster sizes and whatnot. Although, because you only have 4 years, another reason why if you're a player, you got to make as much money as you possibly can while you're in college, because not everybody's going to the NFL for those millions.
That's very true.
And so you look at it from that perspective too. Hard to blame a kid that can, the most money you might ever make in 1 year might be when you're 21 years old.
It very well may be true, but if you're a good player, you probably are going to go to the NFL, and those are the guys who are going to make the most money, which that's what I'm saying. It needs to be fair and it needs to be regulated.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Well, we got a former Cowboy complaining about the Cowboys culture.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
One of Joe's favorite players on planet Earth.
We'll see how you like him after he complains about your beloved Cowboys.
Here we go. What did Dalton Schultz tell Pat McAfee today? Might be 2 hands on the steering wheel time when we come back on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I think Dalton Schultz wants to kick the Cowboys in the teeth. Now, if you get kicked in the teeth, you got to go see a dentist. You want to go see my dentist, Dr. Smith, over at Smile Structured Dentistry and Braces. If it's been a while since you've been to a dentist or you need a new dentist, Smile Structure, man, general and family dental practice that can handle all your dentistry needs, from cleaning and whitening, crowns, fillings, dental implants, wisdom teeth extraction. They can handle everything. They offer general anesthesia, sedation, cosmetic dentistry. Now, I've been a patient of Dr. Smith for a number of years, although there is about a 4-year gap between visits. If you're like me and you neglected your teeth for a while, you need to go to the dentist. Go see the dentist. Make sure your teeth are doing what they need to do just for your overall health. Spring break is coming up. They sent an email out. You want to get your kids in to go see the dentist. Maybe they haven't been in a while. Spring break dates filling up quickly. Smilestructure.com. Book an appointment for the kids. Book an appointment for you. Right now, get a free exam and x-rays when you mention 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Medicaid and all PPO insurance is accepted, and they do offer a dental savings plan if you don't have dental insurance. They are veteran-owned and operated and offer discounts to uninsured veterans. 5 San Antonio area locations. Book that appointment now. Smilestructure.com. Smilestructure.com.
You're riding with a Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
There are any number of reasons you might consider selling your home. To move closer to family, live within a smaller budget, or just wanting a change of scenery. Whatever your reasons, having to figure out all the various housing market trends in your area may not be what you signed up for. That's where an agent who is a realtor comes in. Realtors have the expertise to help you find the right price and navigate the process to sell your home in a way that's right for you. That's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Over the past decade, the Roof Hub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roof Hub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roof Hub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Boot Barn is committed to supporting those who uphold the Western way of life. Denim plays a major role as a robust material that holds strong in a rugged environment. Since 1947, the Wrangler Authentic Western jeans have brought long-lasting denim to all who embrace the cowboy lifestyle. Boot Barn is proud to support this bold legacy, one that's just as iconic now as it was then. Wrangler at Boot Barn.
I wish I could get this stupid jar open.
Jars can be tough, am I right?
Who are you? And how'd you get in my kitchen?
It's me, Flo, and I'm here to grant your wish of easily switching to Progressive and helping you get a discount that honors the time spent with your previous insurer.
Great, but what does that have to do with getting this jar open?
Nothing.
So you can't open this?
Oh, I just do insurance. Jars, I leave to the professionals.
Sign up for Progressive and opt into more savings. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
The LaTappe, Texas cycling races are back in San Antonio, April 12th to the 14th. Cyclists of all ages, register now to ride in the 100, 60, or 25-mile Tour de France amateur cycling events. You can run, walk, cycle, and celebrate all things Fitness Fiesta at the Athletes Village and Expo. LaTappe, Texas. Register today at fiestafitfest.com. Presented in part by Thomas J. Henry.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for America's #1 fantasy sports app, Prize Pick. There's over 3 million active users, and I am one of us because it is one of the easiest and most exciting ways to play daily fantasy sports because my knowledge matters. It's about more. It's about less. It's about multiplying your money up to 100 times. It is so easy to play because your knowledge matters. And as basketball season arrives, use your knowledge. Ex-players, former players, current players, you know what you're doing. Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Caitlin Clark, Kevin Durant, you know how to play. Download Prize Picks now. Use the code Alamo. You'll get up to $100 matching. It's Prize Picks, the #1 fantasy sports app going. I play because it's fun and easy. You should play because you can win, because all you need is the knowledge to play. Download Prize Picks app, use the code Alamo, get your $100 match, and start playing today. It is that easy. It is fun. It is Prize Picks. Download today. Thank me later.
The NFL is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, that 2-game win streak came to an end for the San Antonio Spurs last night. The Houston Rockets did them in. Spurs continue their 3-game road trip in Sacramento tomorrow night. Cowboys are exercising the 5th-year option on pass rusher Micah Parsons. The CBA determines Micah's position, not the Cowboys, so he's been designated a defensive end rather than a linebacker. Going to save the Cowboys $2.7 million.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Guess what day it is?
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Hump day.
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 Happy Hump Day, everybody.
Kind of petered out there towards the end.
I never peter out.
That's not true.
Come on.
You
know better than that.
So not true.
That was a 4-humper.
Yeah, but it's the 5 o'clock hour. We're supposed to go 5 here.
Give me another one, Blitz. Hump Day.
I think we got to start over. You got to go 5 in a row.
Only if everybody joins in. That's the only way I'm going to do it. I mean, everybody. If you're driving, you got to roll down the window. Scream Hump Day. If you're on YouTube, you got to scream Hump Day. If you're on Twitter or X or whatever the hell they're calling that, you got to scream Hump Day. Minix, Pledge.
That's your thing.
You got to scream Hump Day. Everybody participates.
Guess what day it is?
Hump Day.
Oh, fumble. What, we got a false start on that? What the hell was that?
That was perfect.
That was awesome.
That was perfect. In unison, me and Charlie. What's the hell's his name?
Caleb.
Caleb the camel.
Give yourselves a big hump day, everybody, because you deserve it. Let it go. And those of you that just got off work at 5 o'clock, congratulations. You're over the hump. The weekend is in sight.
The weekend, well, it's Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hump day.
Big weekend plans?
Yeah. I suppose.
Sure. Days that end in Y and start with S are the best.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
You just got that.
I did. It took me a while.
Not surprising. Dalton Schultz, not surprising, hates the Dallas Cowboys. I say that. It is interesting. Fresh off of his contract extension with the Houston Texans, 3 years, $36 million. And that's one of those things that have worked out for both. Things have worked out for the Cowboys with him leaving, and certainly he has found a home in Houston that he seems to really like. But it goes on Pat McAfee today, and just, obviously, I mean, you played for both. What are the biggest differences between the two organizations?
That was one of the first things that kind of stuck out to me. It feels like much more, I don't want to say college because it's not, but like the focus is just football, you know what I mean? And going back and like telling some people how kind of being around the Cowboys practice facility and game day, describing some of the interactions and stuff that you see on a day-to-day basis, surprised a lot of people. They're like, holy crap, like that actually happens like at a practice facility. And, it's just, you think it's normal. And then you come to a place like this.
What? Well, all right. You think it's normal. And again, Dallas, I mean, we all know it's a different animal. But what are you talking about? What do you mean, Dalton Schultz?
No, dude, it's just like there's people literally going on tours while you're lifting in the weight room, and they've got like a one-way mirror for people to like look at. Like it's a zoo, dude. There's people tapping on the glass, like trying to get people's attention as they're doing, power cleans or whatnot. And it's different. And I mean, that's the brand that they've built. That's what Jerry Jones likes. That's the way they run things. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you don't realize like how many eyeballs and how much that can maybe distract from, stuff just in the locker room, being in the facility, until you go somewhere else and you're like, holy crap, like, dude, there's none of that. This is also a really well-run organization in Houston.
It's funny that he waits until after he signs his new contract with the Texans to come out and blast the Cowboys because, well, you never know. I mean, was he negotiating with the Cowboys to go back? You never can tell. I just find that comical.
Well, I mean, a couple of things with that. I mean, yeah, there's tours always going on up there, and a lot of people pay a lot of money to go on those tours. If you've ever walked into NRG Stadium and you're walking around down there, the weight room has glass everywhere. You can watch those guys work out the same way, right? It might not be on a tour, and maybe they just don't have the say foot traffic or interest in Houston to go down there and see if guys are lifting weights. But it's not like their locker room at NRG is hidden from the general public. If you walk into their team store, which I believe is open every day, is it not? The team store at the stadium?
Most of them are.
I think it's open every day. You can see guys working out. Yeah, it might not be on a tour. You might not be able to tap the glass, but you can see them working out. You can watch them. And I've seen this at training camp, even when practices are closed to the public. They've got those walking bridges and people are standing over there, maybe not in the droves that they are with the Cowboys, but yeah, some of that stuff does happen. I find that interesting, although he did go a little bit further. And I think this is the part that is worth discussion. Now, granted, he went down there last year. That was DeMeco Ryans' first year. So he did not play under Bill O'Brien. So I will keep that in mind as I hear him talk about how a Houston Texans organization is a well-oiled machine.
I think that was one of the things that kind of scared me about like leaving Dallas the most, is I wasn't sure what another organization would feel like. And dude, I got here and it was like, this place is a well-oiled machine. Coaching staff, the coaching changes, I can't speak to the previous stuff, but the strength staff is phenomenal. The training staff is unbelievable. This has been the most trainers that I've ever seen on a staff, and they take really amazing care of the players. The nutrition staff is phenomenal. The chefs, they came in and they poached like 5 of the best chefs in the Houston area, and they paid them a bunch more, and they're like, come hang out and cook for us.
Smart.
And so it's like everything that they kind of do is really top notch, and not being sure of like how another organization would kind of be run leaving Dallas. I was so happy and like,
no,
surprised.
Everything you're saying is wrong. Remember, Houston was a dumpster.
Right, I don't know what Pat's yelling about there. But all right, a couple of things there that I think are worth going. And I know this about the way the Houston Texans organization is run, minus the Bill O'Brien part. The McNair family does everything first class.
Okay.
And they always have. We used to go down there and do the show down there when Kubiak was the coach, and was it Dom Capers before that? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien, he ran all the media off. And so a lot of what I just heard from Dalton Schultz, I agree with. It's it is top-notch first class. The part that I find most interesting there, strength and the trainers. Because remember, in the NFLPA player grade, Cowboys got a very poor grade on the training staff. And just hearing Dalton Schultz say, there's so many trainers, and and that's the knock on the Cowboys. There's not enough of them.
Why does Dalton Schultz feel the need to go on Pat McAfee and rip the Cowboys? Why? I mean, I don't understand. What's the point? Just to here I am. I'm in a better place. The Cowboys suck. And I mean, I don't understand the point of that.
It's a great question. And,
I mean, seriously,
and who knows the motivation, and the fact that it comes after he gets a 3-year deal, not a 1-year deal. You can
for
say,
the same money that he was offered in Dallas, by the way,
a couple of years ago. I agree. And so is he disgruntled? It's interesting when you have people. Sometimes you see this in sales. In order to sell your product and compliment yourself, you put down your competitor, right? And that's kind of a BS thing to do. But in order to, you've got to compare to something. He was asked questions and he was answering them. I don't think he probably started the interview thinking, all right, I'm going to trash the Cowboys here. But it certainly comes across that way. But take emotion out is what he is saying with all the talk recently about culture. Now, granted, the talk about the bad culture has to do with CeeDee Lamb's mom writing on Facebook and Micah's brother and, that kind of family members that are chiming in. But when he talks about training staff and some of the other, maybe that is something that the Cowboys do need to look at.
Maybe it is. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Have the Texans won a Super Bowl lately?
No,
I didn't think so.
Or an AFC championship appearance or any of that kind of stuff.
No, they haven't. So that well-oiled machine is not any better than the clunky one that's in Dallas. Look, I have a problem with and it's why I didn't like what Micah Parsons said on his last podcast. Man, why do that? It just makes no sense. And if it makes Dalton Schultz feel better, I guess so be it. I don't know what the point of doing that is.
What do you guys think? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. I don't know what the point is. He was asked a question and he answered it. I always appreciate a guy that doesn't give me a cliche answer, even if I don't like what he is saying.
Well, you wanted Dan Quinn to blast the Cowboys the other day, and he didn't do it.
Well, I thought he did, because Pledge is putting up on the deal. Like, wait till you hear what Dan Quinn said about, all right, that was disappointing. But I look thing that I really think that the Cowboys need to look at. If you've got former players that are going somewhere else, talking in a negative way about your training staff when your current players just graded that poorly, that is something that you do need to address. You at least have to look at what others are doing and what you're doing. And maybe you talk to players who have been other places, like a Brandon Cooks or a Stephon Gilmore. Mike Zimmer, how many trainers did you guys have in Minnesota? Yeah, 10. Well, we got 3. Man, how many are in Houston? I don't know the answer to those.
I didn't see the grade for Houston. Does anybody know that?
We can look it up.
I'm just saying. I'm wondering.
I'm sure Pledge is going to tell us it was wonderful.
I'm sure it was.
But we can look it up. But it is something, though, that if that was brought up in that conversation, and the way he said it, there's so many of them. And knowing that Dallas just got knocked for not having enough of them, maybe that is a problem.
Okay. So maybe it is a problem. That can be pretty easily fixed, I would think.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. Look, when we're at training camp, you don't watch those guys work out. Nobody watches those guys within that white tent. If you go near there, you can't watch them work out.
No, but at the Star, the weight room,
and so you can't work out with people watching you.
Dalton Schultz is kind of a.
I don't understand that.
I mean, he's also a guy that blocks everybody on Twitter that says anything bad about him.
I don't understand. If you got what people are watching you work out. Okay,
you're a zoo animal.
All right,
and we got a window right here in our.
Dude, you're a zoo animal when you hit the field on Sunday afternoon. There's 80,000 people and then millions watching. It seems like a very I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It just
immature.
I wouldn't say
disgruntled employee.
I don't even know if it's disgruntled.
I mean,
I just don't see the point of it.
A couple of years ago, the Cowboys offered him a 3-year, $36 million deal. He thought he could get more. He turned it down. He bet on himself. And then 2 years later, signs a 3-year, $36 million deal. Right? Had the Cowboys offered him 40 or 45, he'd be a happy Dallas Cowboy right now.
I'm sure he'd be happy being a zoo animal.
See, he didn't know that Houston was such a well-oiled machine.
Exactly.
With all their playoff success and history.
That's your guy, Dalton Schultz.
How's that
best tight end in Cowboy history?
Who has ever said that?
You used to hear that all the time. I mean, he's the guy.
From who? From who?
You.
Best in history, my ass.
Well, I wouldn't say history.
I mean, if
history's a big word.
I mean, I know you misquote me all the time, but yes, history is a big word.
It's a big word.
I mean, the guy that said is the best in Cowboys history is going to put an anvil in your head.
What?
You remember when Jason Witten said that on Monday Night Football?
I do.
In his short-lived
Yes,
broadcasting career.
So you would put Witten as the best in history? What about Novacek or Billy Joe Dupree or and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just throwing out some. The Cowboys have had some pretty good tight ends.
I mean, if you're just counting rings, you go Jay. But I think Jason Witten is one of the best tight ends,
right?
Not only in Cowboys history, but in NFL history.
No, I agree. I think Jason Witten is the best. I do. I honestly do. And the guy was incredible.
Dalton Schultz was the best tight end at the time. And he was a security blanket. And he's a hell of a football player. I won't take anything away from what Dalton Schultz is doing on the field, especially, his last year in Dallas, he was learning how to block, and he's blocked well. He's become a better blocker in Houston because I think he realizes, well, I want to get paid like a tight end. I need to play the position at 100%, not just the pass catching part.
He forgot about inflation, though.
He's a hell of a receiver.
Taking the same contract that he could have had 2 years ago.
Bet on himself and pushed.
Well, he pushed. Okay, I've done that before.
I mean,
and sometimes you're pretty happy to do that.
It's not a loss. not a loss. They got like Tony Pollard, bet on himself, and he might come back at a lower price. We'll dive into that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're having any issues at your house with your plumbing, your AC, there's one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. 210-651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are full service. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. They've got a great experienced staff, earned a maintenance bureau. And at Quartermoon, they have great maintenance programs that ensure your unit is ready for every season. So it's March 6th. It's time to make sure your AC is ready for the hot summer months coming. Make sure you get that scheduled maintenance out there. Make sure your AC is ready to go. Now, if you need a new AC for a limited time, all 14 SEER up to 3-ton AC systems are $69.99 installed from Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. Call them 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Presented by Ancira Auto Group. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill on the corner of Highway 90 and Lucky Ranch, 10 minutes from Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-785-9545. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-785-9545 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-785-9545 to see if you qualify. That's 800-785-9545.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason, a practicing attorney in San Antonio for 30 years. Jason, what does that mean?
What it means is I've been representing people and families here in San Antonio injured in auto, truck, motorcycle collisions, serious injury, death accidents, taking those families and helping them through some of the worst times of their life. I've been practicing law in San Antonio for so long. I remember when the Cowboys were champions.
Seriously.
And a great staff that handles kind of the blocking and tackling of what it takes to represent clients. There are so many phone calls that need to be made, so many connections you have to have between insurance companies, physicians, opposing lawyers, relationships that you build over 30 years with adjusters, with insurance companies, with defense attorneys, with local judges. When I represent a client, they know that I'm lending my name, my reputation built on 30 years of experience to that client to get them justice.
It's Jason Thompson, alawyerforus.com. Call him at 210-900-0400, alawyerforus.com.
My name is Jessica. Years ago, I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. I slept all the time, was fatigued, had no energy, and a bad attitude. Now I've lost 50 pounds and I'm still losing. My medications have been scaled back. My emotions are stable and I have lots of energy. People at work say I'm happy, perky, and my husband says he's not walking on eggshells around me any longer. The Institute for Functional Health changed my life.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
My kids call me Tom. So unnerving. Every day, the older one's like, how you doing, Tom? I go, hey, I'm not your fucking stepdad, all right? I wish I was. It'd be a lot easier, but I'm not.
From his multiple Netflix specials, comedian Tom Segura brings his new tour, Come Together, to Frost Bank Center Friday, March 8th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss Tom Segura, Come Together.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading companies. And right now you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text ENERGY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text ENERGY to 200-300 right now. Text the word ENERGY to 200-300. Don't wait, text ENERGY to 200-300.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 as San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Jeff Tate's going to be in San Antonio in 10 days. Saturday, March 16th. You want to go see Jeff Tate at the Aztec? We got a pair of tickets right now. What number is Dalton Schultz? Pledge? Well, all of a sudden your mic doesn't work. You're muted. You don't want to tell me? What is he? 84? 87? 6?
87's one Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, so well, I know that.
Buy into us.
Well, I'm buying into Fergalicious, that's for sure. That's exactly right. Absolutely. Yes. Glad you're coming over. Dalton who? Exactly. Dalton who? You want to go see Jeff Tate, you don't have to be Dalton Schultz. No, you don't. And thank your lucky stars. But you do have to be caller number 12. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Since he signed a 3-year, $36 million deal, 12 a year, so be caller 12. 210-656-3776. You're going to go see Jeff Tate next Saturday night at the Aztec Theater. All right, that'll be fun. That'd be a fun show. You know, as we talk about the Cowboys, guys that bet on themselves, Tony Pollard bet on himself. He did. And I don't want to say Tony Pollard lost because all running backs are losing right now. And maybe for Tony Pollard playing 1 year on the tag for $10 million and then signing a 3-year deal at less money was all a part of the plan to maximize his earning potential because he was offered a contract last year. He was. Now, he never told us
directly what it was, but it wasn't $10 million a year last year.
No.
And so make 10, and he was happy with it. Dude, we talked about 10, and that dude was smiling.
Absolutely.
Like absolutely, right?
Hey, think about it. Somebody hand you $10 million, you'd be happy too, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. But now there's a report in the Dallas Morning News that Tony Pollard is open to taking less money to come back to Dallas.
Now, I wonder what that means, because I would really like to know what that contract offer was. Tony wouldn't tell us. Stephen Jones wouldn't tell us. And nobody's going to tell us. But by less money, I wonder if that means less than what he was offered before he took the tag. I mean, what are you thinking? 5-6 million, maybe 3-year deal, kind of something like that.
Yeah, I mean, 18 to 20.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe 10 of that guaranteed. It's not going to be a lot.
No.
And I don't know what the real money running back market is going to look like. And quite frankly, I don't know who does until you see Saquon signed somewhere, until you see Jacob signed somewhere. And those are the younger of the two. I don't know that Derrick Henry's deal is going to be a game changer. And quite frankly, when you look at the free agent running backs and the free agent running backs that went for over 1,000 yards last year, there's just not a market. I'm not opposed to Dallas bringing back Tony Pollard on a affordable contract, whatever that might mean.
Yeah.
But I do expect the Cowboys to draft a running back, a full-size real running back in this year's draft, not Deuce Vaughn.
Wait a minute. Everybody was so happy with Deuce Vaughn when he was drafted.
It's a great story.
Great story.
But at the same time, it's like Halloween. You get the fun-size candy bar. It's great, but you eat 2 or 3 of them because it's not enough.
How many of you guys were screaming at me when he gadget guy?
I mean, with what we saw last year, I mean, we've seen short running backs do well in the NFL.
Not very many.
But we've seen it. And I looked at what the kid did at Kansas State, thought he could be a legit running back. With what we saw this year, move on.
Waste of a 6th-round pick.
But it was a great story for his dad.
Sure
He's in
was.
the NFL. All
Great.
of that's cool. That's beside the point. Let's not get sidetracked. But if you're Tony Pollard, you played on the franchise tag your first year as RB1. Even though you went over 1,000 yards, it was a subpar year. You did not meet expectations from at least the fans, right?
From the fans, yeah, because I don't know what expectations are. I mean, what were your expectations?
Well, I mean, he still had 1,000 yards, which is hard to do. But when I have a Mike McCarthy say we're going to run the ball more, now granted, situational running, offensive line issues, it was tough sledding.
Well, even Emmett was mad that they didn't run when he talked to us on Radio Row. Then Mike McCarthy said we're going to run the football. And he didn't run the football.
But do we give Mike McCarthy the benefit of the doubt that they couldn't run the football? And with a banged up offensive line and a running back that wasn't near 100%, are you risking more by running it early? Because Tony Pollard sat with us in Las Vegas and said he didn't feel right until the Carolina game.
I think that was a surprise.
And that,
to me anyway.
And that, well, again, coming off a major injury, but no structural damage. But when he explained to us during Super Bowl Radio Row that he didn't feel right until the Carolina game, and he's excited about this offseason because he can train as opposed to rehab, then that honestly changed my outlook on his future in Dallas. Now, I still think Tony Pollard is going to go to whatever team offers him the most money.
And he'd be dumb not to.
And I'd be surprised if he's back in Dallas. But even if he does come back on a team-friendly deal or, whatever the current rate is for less money, I'd be excited to have him back. But I don't know that he is a RB1, you get the bulk of the carries kind of running back like Zeke was. And last year, maybe it's unfair to judge him after he told us that he wasn't right until about week 10. But we didn't see the explosive plays in the run game or in the pass game. And they need that change of pace back, a 2 running back system, which is the way it's done. So getting a running back in the draft, 3rd, 4th round, I think is what the Cowboys are going to do, whether Tony Pollard is back or not.
Yeah, they've got to get a running back. I think that's a no-brainer, and that's going to happen. Whether Tony Pollard's back or not it remains to be seen, but I hope he is. And I think that McCarthy ought to utilize the guy more. I mean, I really do. And not saying that Pollard, he didn't meet expectations. I'll give you that. But I think a lot of that was on the head coach, that either he knew they couldn't run the football, and if you couldn't run the football, then use Pollard in different ways. I mean, there are ways to get creative with an athlete like a Tony Pollard, and I don't think Mike McCarthy did that.
No, and I do wonder, like you look at the goal line or red zone failures that they had last year. Were they not running the ball because they knew they couldn't? Because Tony Pollard was not a good red zone running back.
Sure.
Now, is that on Pollard because he wasn't healthy, or is that on the offensive line because, they weren't healthy at the time?
Maybe a little of both.
And maybe a combination of both. I mean, and they don't have one of those big wide receiver red zone targets.
No.
So, how much did that handicap the Cowboys play calling down the stretch? Maybe, and I don't know that Mike McCarthy would ever admit this, he wanted to run the ball more, but they knew they couldn't. Because, I mean, you talk to some play callers, and, I mean, you can only call plays that you guys can run and execute.
Sure.
And so maybe that's why they didn't run the ball the way we thought they were going to run the ball.
Well, we were told that they were going to do.
Yes.
Remember, I mean, we were.
But hearing Tony, we talked to Tony, and Oxnard, he told us he was fine. Right?
Yeah,
before
of course,
the season.
yeah.
But of course, that's what's he going to say. In Las Vegas, yeah, dude, I feel good until the Carolina game. And you think about the Carolina game, he had that one touchdown run about 20 yards up the middle and was carrying dudes. And it looked like, all right, Tony Pollard looked strong on that one. Where's that been? Looked like a guy that was running for a contract.
Yeah.
Maybe he was running because he finally felt like himself.
Leg
was good.
Interesting to see what happens with Tony Pollard and with everybody else on the Cowboys.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Gabe Santana tweets in at Joe Reinagle 2-0, at Jay Semenix, at SA Sports Star. Do you guys still have a 4-player team available for the spring tournament? Well, yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Go to sasportstar.com. Email. There's room for 7 teams. 7. That's it. And then we're going to be completely sold out, which we will be by the time we play over at the Golf Club of Texas on March 25th. So, Gabe, if you're thinking about it, go book that team now, sasportstar.com.
Get in there and get it done. Hey, let's talk about life's unexpected curveballs. Have you ever been hit with challenges that leave your smile in the dust? I got some uplifting news for you today from Doctor's Implants. Life can certainly throw some serious hurdles in our way. And at Doctor's Implants, they meet patients every day facing the fallout of medical conditions causing their teeth to go south. But here's the scoop. At Doctor's Implants, they are on a mission to bring back your smile no matter what life has thrown your way. So if health-related dental problems have been holding you back, don't lose hope. Doctor's Implants is your ticket to a fresh start. You can check them out at doctorsimplants.com. And when you call them at 210-640-0000, mention that I sent you, Joe Reinagle from the Blitz. Well, that's your key to a complimentary consultation and CT scan. Don't let life's challenges steal your smile. Call Doctor's Implants today. 210-640-0000.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle. Hey, it's time to talk some baseball. Justin Verlander won't be on the Stros when the season begins. We're going to look at where they're headed and can the Rangers repeat.
Plus, the San Antonio Spurs are chasing down NBA history tonight. What's at stake? We have the answer starting at 6 a.m.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, Select Quote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call Select Quote at 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050.
Select Quote. We shop. You save.
Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Starting with one store in 1978, Boot Barn has become the largest Western and workwear retailer in the nation. Supporting those who feed, build, and protect America, we offer the largest selection of cowboy boots, work boots, Western wear, workwear, and outdoor gear. With over 500,000 pairs of boots and thousands of top-quality jeans and clothing, it's an honor to support the people who make our country so great. Boot Barn. Keep West.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA member FDIC.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
I'm a lawyer for you. I've helped you.
Yes, he has, and many others here in San Antonio. And that's why I'm so glad I get a chance to talk to you today about what happens when you get into an accident.
It's overwhelming for everybody involved. You have this paralysis of what to do next, who to talk to, how do you get medical care, or you're in the hospital and who's going to pay for this? It's this swirl of anxiety, and many times it's even worse than the injury itself. You have to help people through that situation. And I tell every client the same thing. Don't worry. I've got this. I will take care of this. Just worry about your family. Just worry about getting healthy. If I can do that for you and maximize your recovery, you stay in business, you keep clients. And for 30 years, I've kept every client I've ever had. I don't lose clients. I represent their family and friends because that's how seriously I take my job.
A lawyerforus.com. You can find him at 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
Now is the best time to buy a Connecticut water softener. With current models being closed out to make way for the new ones, you can save big. Call Connecticut at 656-PURE and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you. That's 656-PURE.
The Aggies play here. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Andrew has to work tonight.
He sure does.
Aggies, Mississippi State coming up later on here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, shortly after extra innings with Pledge.
We've got the end of the basketball season is fast approaching, and the big dance is coming up.
Well, I mean, March. If you missed our big announcement yesterday, the Blitz is going to Vegas, baby. We want you guys to come along with us. No, we're not paying your way, but you can book your trip now to join us at Circa Las Vegas, not only for the second weekend of the tournament, but also Major League Baseball's opening day. March 28th, start of the baseball season. They're going to have a ceremonial first pitch by Hall of Famer Greg Maddux, and then you can watch every game. Everybody's in action. They're at the world's largest sports book, and then the ultimate March Hoops experience out there at Stadium Swim with those 6 pools, that big old TV. Book now, circalasvegas.com. Join us in Vegas for Mega March at Circa Resort and Casino.
That's going to be a lot of fun, and it'd be a lot more fun if we get a bunch of Blitz listeners out there to have some fun with us.
We already know of a couple people that have booked some trips.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I mean, if we know you, obviously, you know, cool. If we don't know you, we'll get to know you because we're all going to be in Vegas together. Just through social media or whatever, let us know you're out there. I don't know the whole setup yet on where we're going to be, whether it's at the sports book or at the pool.
I hope we're at the pool.
Well, I mean, maybe one day we're in one place and the other, but we're going to be at Circa.
Yes.
And they have told us, if you got listeners, show up. because they charge for different cabanas and things like that. But I mean, if you're coming with us, you're coming with us.
Absolutely.
That's the way I understand it. So it's going to be a badass time. And then, don't tell anybody, but our show out there is noon to 4. So we're going to have plenty of time to hang out, play some blackjack.
Yes. And who knows what else?
Well,
like roulette or slot machines.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a slot
poker.
guy.
I like slots. Hey, you are too, I would imagine.
Dude, I when I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago, the slot machines were very good to me.
I'm telling you, sometimes they are.
Sometimes I wonder, do I have better odds just sitting here at the slot machine than at a blackjack table? The best night I had at a blackjack table was the last night. After Joanna had run the marathon, we were out for a while, but she was like, I'm going to bed. I'm not going to bed. I mean, it's Vegas.
You're in Vegas.
So I'm down.
You didn't do anything that day. So, yeah, you had a lot of energy.
Are you kidding? Do you know how hard it is to watch a marathon?
Yeah, I can only imagine. But I know you didn't watch it. You watched her take off. You went in and started drinking. You came out when she finished.
Well, I had dinner
I know
too.
you better than that. All right.
I saw the start, and we waited till she was off and running,
where she couldn't see you any longer.
True debate. All right, she starts, and we know they're going to run. Its start line was at New York. They're going to run down to the Vegas sign, and then they turn around, and then they run all the way down to Fremont, and then they come back. Right?
Wow, that's a long way.
So the first part, I don't know, mile or two. And then so we could have stayed there and watched her come back.
Sure.
We didn't.
But you didn't.
No. There's a casino right there. You got to get dinner, get drinks. Then we were hanging out, and then she texted. She was a picture with mile 11. It was like, oh crap, we gotta work our way over to the finish line at Bellagio. And the goal was, we had a race. We had to get there before she did.
That's even more impressive. You're running 11 miles and you still have the energy to text somebody? Wow.
Well,
I'm impressed.
I mean, don't be. She was supposed to send us updates throughout the whole journey, all the different mile markers and stuff. I needed proof of life photos, right? And it was mile 11. It's like, oh, well,
you had 2 miles to get where you're supposed to be.
Well, she had 2 miles to get there, but you know what it's like walking through. So we were over at New York still because the tables were good. So then you got to go over to park, get on the tram to go over to the Bellagio because there's no way you can't walk it because all the roads are closed.
Right.
And so it was a race for us to get to the finish line before her. She does not know that, but there was some stress involved.
I'm sure there was.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know how you handled it.
Just fine.
Man, I just don't know how you did it, Jason. You are a hero.
You have no idea.
Man.
And then we were at the Bellagio Sportsbook for dinner.
Wow. Rough life.
Brutal.
Yeah, terrible.
But the point of that, though, slot machines were very good to me on that particular trip.
Look, here's the deal to everybody thinking about it. If you're just thinking about going with us to Circa Las Vegas, you need to.
Yep.
Minix and I are different people in Las Vegas. All right, we are. So if you know us, you've been around us at, I don't know, the Rue Pub or wherever.
We're not that much different.
Well.
I mean, Drunk Joe is Drunk Joe, whether it's at the Rue Pub or at Circa.
Yeah, but Joe's got a lot more toys to play with in Las Vegas. And I mean gambling toys. You dirty minds. I saw the look on your face.
Eloy Tiarina says, wait, we're going to Vegas? Yes, sir.
Come on.
We're going to Vegas.
And Eloy can get some cheap tickets.
Yeah. I mean, book your flights. Book a room at circalasvegas.com.
Yeah.
Let us know that you're out there. And we're all going to have a great time. It's going to, opening day of baseball, Sweet 16 weekend of the tournament, Mega March. It's going to be an incredible time. And the Blitz is going to be live out there that Thursday and Friday.
Greg Maddux is going to throw out the first pitch.
And I'm angling to get Ryan Angle to be his catcher.
I want to. I just hope he throws a strike.
Just don't.
Those former Atlanta Braves don't really know where the strike zone is.
I did you ever play baseball growing up?
Yes.
All right. Dumb question. The guys our age, we played everything, right? I remember our Little League baseball coach try out for pitchers. My pitching career didn't last very long. But the coach would sit there as the catcher and he would hold his glove and he said, "I'm not moving my glove. You better hit it." Hit him right in the face, busted his lip.
Wow.
He didn't move his glove.
Well, that's kind of dumb.
I never pitched again.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure you didn't. Now, I played in an old man's league. It was over 30 league. They have it here still today, that all age groups. I think it was 30 to 40, 40 to 50, so on and so forth. And some good ball players out there. And it's fast pitch, baseball rules, and all of it. It's nice.
There are a lot of I got a friend who, and I don't think he does anymore because he's gotten too old and too beat up, but he used to play in an old man's league, and then they would go out to the old man's World Series for a week out in Arizona. And and they're like, "Oh, you want to go drink? Got a game tonight." And I'm like, you never turn down the bar,
Old guy, still every time I see him, the guy's name is Skip Bradley, and he's always wearing a baseball uniform. I never see him in anything else. And we got an opening, Joe. Come on back. I just he
And what is your excuse, sir?
Well, it's on Sundays typically, right? It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed my time. Barry Davis, he and I played on the same teams from Kins 5.
Yeah.
He was a catcher, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he was. We played on the same team. It was a good time. I think I played in that league for 3 years and decided that I like my Sundays.
Mm-hmm. In other words, the baseball pants didn't feel right?
No, the baseball pants feel great.
Mm-hmm.
Even had a cup and everything.
Were they the see-through variety that they're wearing nowadays?
No. Unfortunately, I'm not opposed
What
to
do you
that.
mean, unfortunately?
Well, I do everybody a favor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wear those see-through pants.
Good Lord. Bled, you want to start early? I don't know where to go after that. Good Lord. The Spurs last night, did they need that? And I asked that in a knucklehead way. I listened to Greg Popovich after they got their ass kicked in Houston. And my first, again, Pop does post-game, no questions, just a quick statement.
That's what you call a royal ass whooping right there. They deserve a lot of credit. They were physical from the get-go till the game. They came after it that way. They played that way. It put us in mud. We didn't respond to it very well, and you got the outcomes. Young group needs to understand the road is a lot different than at home. It requires a little bit more mental toughness. So we'll move on and try to play better at sack.
Better in sack. We'll play better. Dude, I just don't understand. This is like I don't know how many games they've played on the road. A young team needs to learn that it's different on the road than it is. They haven't figured that out yet.
I don't know what they did on the rodeo road trip, but apparently they didn't figure that out. But where I will say, though, is there – follow me here.
I'll try.
Without being because this team had won 2 in a row, and because they had beaten 2 playoff-bound teams playing very good basketball in doing so, that they go into that game in Houston on the road, feeling good about themselves for one of the few times this year, feeling like they could show up at the gym and win a game, right? And that focus. It's because I would imagine that there's a lot of games this team showed up to play, home, away, whatever, where they knew walking into that building they were going to lose. They were going to lose. Or there was a point in the game where they know, well, I've got no chance. We're going through the motions.
Okay.
But for the first time this year, I think we talked about it some yesterday. We felt like at this team, the light bulb had gone off. They had won 2 games in a row, playing great basketball on both ends of the floor. And then they go get their ass kicked. When Pop talked with his comment about learning how to win on the road, is it from a different mindset? They went into that game expecting to win, and they didn't, as opposed to going into a game expecting to lose or just showing up for work. This was the first time this year, this entire season, that I think that group went into a game with a ton of confidence that they were going to go in and win, and they got their ass kicked.
Well, if that's the case, I hope they go into tomorrow night's game thinking they're going to lose. Because if that's indeed the case, Look, I think Ime Udoka did a great job last night. He had a guy in Sengun who is a physical player, and I think, my estimation, he said, go be physical with Wemby. And he was, and it worked. And we didn't even know that Wemby was going to play last night. He ends up playing, and I think he played, 32 minutes. But Sengun beat him up. I mean, he did physically beat him up, and I'm really surprised that teams have not been doing that more often this year. But Sengun?
He's so tall, really. He's really tall, but he's not that strong yet, So I was going his chest and put him under the rim. So, like I said, they didn't double me tonight that much, so I work and under the rim.
I must break you.
Stop. But again, he's tall, but not that strong. And, the thing is, Wemby had 7 blocks last night.
Yes.
5 were on that guy. He scored 45 points. He destroyed everybody, including Wemby, but Wemby played him pretty well. And Wemby did not have a great game offensively.
Not at all.
Dude didn't even take a shot in the second half. Had the shoulder coming in. You don't know if he's going to play. Then he got into foul trouble. And there hasn't been a lot of games like that for Wemby. If there's anybody that's going to learn from that performance, it is him, because those bad performances like that from Wemby have been far and few between, which is surprising for a rookie. So part of me, I hear that from Pop and just I want to roll my eyes, but I do think the attitude going in and the approach, what you can take from that loss coming out, is different because you went in feeling good about yourselves and like you could win, and you got punched in the mouth. I think that teaches you, no matter what, you got to bring it every game in and game out. You're not there yet.
And I think for Wemby, that's a teaching opportunity. If they're on the plane, Pop comes over and says, hey, let's take a look at this film. Here's what you could have done better against a physical player like that. And so for Wemby, and he's really the main guy I care about when it comes to being taught stuff, I think Pop really could have an opportunity there to help him out.
Just see if he's on the injury report tomorrow with a bruised sternum.
Or ego.
Well, that's definitely, but those don't make the injury report. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Extra innings with Pledge coming up next here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. It is a Wednesday, almost the weekend. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, the best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number. You can text the word bail to 474747, or you can even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service, and of course, they are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
Riding I-35 with the Blitz.